giggling because Sam was demanding I don't TPK everybody today.
What? I didn't say that. Did anyone hear me say that?
It's gonna be up to you guys.
It's gonna be up to these guys.
It's gonna be up to them as well, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hopefully not up to those guys.
So today's a big day because after Shield of Tomorrow today, we have our very first episode of Behind the Shield, which is our own 30-minute little kickback where you can hang with the crew and ask questions and just chill with us, and we can reflect over the game. I was saying this to Sam earlier when they got into the office that I was like, oh man, what kind of sucks about this for me now is that right after the game, I have to immediately be held accountable for everything I just did. Whereas, like in the past, I would be like, "And I'm the Warbird decloaks. See ya. I'll see you guys next week." But now it's like, "Hey, I have to face the music now." So
I have him.
Yeah,
I have him, and he is trapped.
So indeed, it'll be 7:30 p.m. PST on Alpha, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. If you can join us, that'd be great. Hey,
I'm excited.
Are you? But are you? I guess you are. I guess.
It's hard to believe you're excited.
Real quick, we don't have a lot of announcements tonight, except does anybody have one that I don't know about?
I'll wait till next week.
All right, cool.
We'll roll it over.
We might have a lot of stuff to chew on today, so we'll go ahead and jump into the episode pretty quick. But I did want to, in all seriousness, take a moment at the top of the episode today, because a lot of people may not be aware of this, but in the history of NASA, this is a very hard time of the year. On January 27th, tomorrow, will be the anniversary of the Apollo 1 disaster. And then January 28th, which is coming up, the next day, is the anniversary of Challenger. Followed by February 1st, which is the Columbia disaster. So, oh damn it, I knew I was gonna get emotional talking about this stuff. If you get a chance, it's a real minor little thing, but head over to NASA astronauts Twitter and just send them some love. I think we can all agree, especially if you're a Star Trek fan, or just somebody who can understand what it must be like to have the courage to go off into the unknown for the sake of all humankind. So just go show those folks some love. NASA deserves it. And yeah.
Wow, that's really
Singular.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a holodeck episode. Quick!
Quick! This was the wrong episode not to bring our Holly, our Targ, to Squish.
I know.
All right, so we will go ahead and start. What's up?
Can I add one thing in addition to your wonderful?
Yes.
Maybe distract yourselves with a piece of really good news, which is that if you've been watching our show and hoping to share it with a friend who might not have access to our Twitch VODs or Alpha, there's some really good news for you that I think started today.
Looks like
it did. It went up.
Yeah, it went up.
Our past episodes are going to be on the Geek and Sundry YouTube.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's right. Episode 1, the poll is actually up right now, so you can go and figure out.
I know.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
can you
I look
believe
back.
that?
You'll see, we look like babies. Just what, 9 months ago?
And you'll have to be
fetuses.
patient with us, because the first 10 episodes, we really, it was a trial by fire learning the rules. Like we were doing what Sam called Trek Camp. We were like jumping in and like crunching rules. The game hadn't even been released yet. I don't think we hadn't even gotten it released yet. We were still using paper packets and learning through the alpha rules and beta rule sets that Modifius was getting ready to release. They were sending us all the advanced copy stuff, and it was great. But we did. I think we did okay. I think
now we know the
did
rules
all right.
perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
All the rules.
Especially me, I'm an expert.
Oh,
It was totally new rule system. None of us had played anything like it before. So
True. If anybody here's a little shaky, it's still Sam a little bit.
Working on it.
We help him whenever it's
I appreciate
Sam, you need to up your game. Seriously, the rules.
We all.
Rules.
Hey, we're all here for each other. We all know the rules the most. So.
Can't say rules without real.
But those first couple episodes, rough.
Oh my god.
Rough with the
Sam
rules.
is on a pun streak today.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead. Make sure to check that out. It's up today. Show your friends and let them. It's even if you don't like it, it's fun to criticize people who don't know Trek as well as you. Right.
Right.
I mean, that's just part of the enjoyment, right? Right. Am I alone in that? Am I the only one that started it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you are.
You just invite.
Trolls coming from inside the show.
Oh, right. I just kind of went contrary.
Your fun is wrong.
My fun is wrong. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna go. What is that?
Talk. Mirror universe.
We're gonna go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Shield of Tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody.
Wait
I
a
feel like
minute.
that was a better. That I don't know why, but that intro just felt a little better.
Felt a little like
it felt more complete.
kind of
Yeah.
fresh.
Longer.
It had like
I didn't know.
I'll show it to you when we're done. It's
so
really
funny.
good.
It's so
extra
Oh my gosh.
Did they put contacts? What happened?
No.
But
No?
it looks dark. It's pretty.
Oh yeah, the lady.
Did they
I closed my eyes the whole time. Trolling
Turning
her
around like,
She's wearing one of those spy glasses with the eyes and the nose and the mustache.
She basically is like
round circular sunglasses.
yes, Jordy.
I joked that it would be funny if we just cut into like just a picture and you hear somebody just go and Gina and then it cuts right back to
Gina DeVivo.
I wouldn't have been mad at that either.
Yeah, I was gonna say. All right, so
We're adults.
yeah, we gotta get past the goofy fun times because we are in a state of red alert right now.
Scary times.
doesn't mean you can't have a good time.
That's true. I mean, you guys can party it up. But,
Red alert
my
for
fear
party.
all right. So where we left off was in orbit over the planet Strethia.
Yeah, paint this picture a little bit. This is
Sure. Right now, the USS Sally Ride, an Intrepid-class starship, is currently facing off against a recently decloaked Romulan warbird.
And half of us are still wet from the.
Wet, and some of you were
definitely the
covered
worst
in
part.
blood.
Oh yeah.
As Dr. Thorloshisiros performed emergency surgery in one of the most hostile environments in which you could do it in, on the verge of combat as Romulan Centurions were getting ready to bust in the door.
That's why she's our doctor.
Well, I shouldn't say Centurions, but there's,
back in the
I would say one Centurion and a bunch of Ulans were about to come through the door. So essentially Romulan agitators are about to come
I
in.
was just doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Mayday.
Not to mention you were also 67 kilometers below the surface of the water in a station that was crumbling at the bottom of a trench of this new planet. The temperature was plunging, life support was failing, the structure was going down around your ears. All hell had broken loose, and Throlo, you managed to save a man's life. Managed to pull a piece of metal out, stop internal bleeding, and seal him up so he could live long enough to make it to your sick bay for complete medical attention, of which he's going to need immediately, or he will not make it. Giving him a fighting chance up on the bridge, there's a new emergency taking place, as again, this Romulan warbird, which has brazenly decided to show itself. The gig is kind of up at this point. The Romulans, as you might know, have been responsible for using tractor beam technology to bring down the mountain. Now, whether they were doing it on purpose, we don't know, but it was the cause of the slide which destroyed half of the hydrothermal power plants down at the bottom of the trench. It's probably no coincidence that they activated that tractor beam again once the Sally Ride staged a daring submerging action, plunging under the waves, showing once again what an Intrepid-class starship is capable of. As you sent basically a 3 football field long starship down to the bottom of a trench to do a close-range beam out while the trench came down around your ears. You managed to rescue the crew. You managed to get your away team back and save the first contact team that you were sent here to rescue. You managed to get the Streethians out as well before the whole place came down around their ears. It looks like the facility, for the most part, where you left, is still intact, but probably will not be inhabitable. It will need some serious repairs before it's ever used again. Leaving the surface of Streethia is when you encountered your new friends, who had been hovering just above the atmosphere. Your new pals. This is the IRW Magtrius.
Did they announce themselves? Sorry, because I'm trying to remember if they announced themselves, if the captain, is it a female Romulan? Is that
female Romulan? I don't believe the captain. I don't remember the captain introducing
what her name was.
The commander of that ship has not introduced themselves.
I thought she did.
Did she?
Yeah.
We spoke to her.
Oh, that's right. You did. You had a communication directly with her. She introduced herself. And you guys, that's
I wrote
correct.
Romulan Captain Lady, so if there was a name, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll
She
just
wasn't
say
described as buff, so like.
It could have been. I mean, we definitely did communicate, but I'm saying.
I don't remember names being exchanged.
Yes, I don't either.
I do.
He
I
introduced
said,
himself
"Thank you."
because he
I remember
always
that
does.
because you always do.
Yeah.
Manners. Starfleet has manners.
Yeah.
Now, where we basically pick up now is who is on the bridge. Remind me. I know Rue and Martinez are on the bridge.
I went straight to the bridge as soon as I got beamed on because I flew us out of the water.
Oh,
so I'm
and
still dripping wet on
I
the
remember
bridge.
you sitting at the console completely soaked.
Yeah, so yep, I'm at sight for sore eyes.
Doctor's in sick bay.
Yeah, doctor, you would have to be in sick bay with.
I think Chief is in engineering.
Yeah.
Because
Last
you're with Jiv.
time
You were doing your magic
adjusted
from
the
there.
You were to the transporter room.
transportation.
She was in the transporter room beaming everyone up.
That's correct.
I just
That's
beamed
correct.
out,
You and Jiv were
and
in
then
the
I
transporter
imagine either
no,
way I
Jiv's
would have
in
gone
engineering.
straight back down to engineering.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Dawn, were you in the research lab still?
I'm not
Science
sure.
lab?
I think I was on the. I remember being on the bridge.
What we could do is
Right,
this.
yeah.
It's a new scene, so instead of like trying to hash this out, I'll let you guys establish where you are right now, because during this dialogue that's taking place, y'all will have time to sort of
I was on the
maneuver
bridge.
around the vessel.
Because just as they were.
Is your implant acting up? That Section 31 implant?
What was that, Eric?
the flinch from Amy.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that at some point.
So here we are. Sally Ride is facing down. Currently, the Magtrius is at medium range, and her weapons are armed. Her shields are up. Same as Sally Ride's. You are at red alert. You had a question, Throlo?
Yes. Are we still carrying 71 recently rescued?
Yep.
That was, so yeah, if I remember correctly, you guys used the transporter enhancers to get everybody up on board the Sally Ride and out of there in time.
Cool.
So that was the daring escape. You managed to rescue them. So you do have a bunch of Streethians on board who are kind of gobsmacked at where they're at now, but also deeply grateful and deliriously happy that they're alive. I would say that a lot of the emergency medical teams are on standby and have been rushing in, like because there's like I mean, obviously there's the off shift, but then of course there is a lot of medical people with basically anybody in an emergency situation like this. Anybody who has any kind of training at Starfleet Academy has basically reported to sickbay to help with any medical issues at hand, even if it's just holding the tools that a doctor needs to do their work. So everyone is reporting to sickbay in this emergency situation, and most of the Streethians, if I remember correctly, there's about 60 of them, not including, it would be a total of 70, including the Starfleet personnel, but of the Streethians who are not immediately injured, they are still, they're being led down to the cargo area, where there's being a triage set up for people to receive like non-life-threatening medical attention.
Okay.
And this is all happening while the showdown is taking place.
Just checking on all that.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm assuming Throlo would totally coordinate the medical staff, so it's kind of like standard procedure.
Yeah. I've got triage is one of our specialties. I've deputized Matazi to talk through to people, but that makes sense if we're using a cargo bay for the overflow, because I probably can't get all 70 of them in my sick bay.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is an Intrepid class starship, it is an exquisite little ship, but it is a little ship comparatively to all the other Federation starships. So Matazi is kind of taking care of the non-life-threatening things and coordinating the medical staff, while you were attending directly to the most, obviously the most lethal injury that's taking place right now.
Cool.
That is what's happening in sickbay. Back up on the bridge, where we left off was the last line of the commander saying that perhaps these captured Romulans that you have beamed into your brig should die for their government.
Yeah.
And that's where we pick up.
What a weird line.
I'm still shivering, just dripping.
Also, want to clarify our Klingon.
He's on the
pal,
bridge. He's not in view of the view screen, but
Commander
he is
Talosh
watching with.
came
Talosh
to
is
the
there.
bridge. Yeah. Also,
Talosh is on the bridge.
wet.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Cool.
And
Oh yeah, he is.
very angry.
Stupid sexy
Okay,
Klingon.
Ensign. All right, calm down.
Hey, I've been controlling myself
that
just fine. Thank you very much.
Thick mane of Klingon hair has been matted down by
I've been
seawater, and
preoccupied.
he looks. Tolosh looks like he is on the he wants to break something.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Klingon who is containing himself right now. He is off to the side, respectfully allowing the command staff to do their job, but he has not taken his hand off his disruptor pistol.
Yeah.
It's not a disrupting thing. He doesn't have his finger near the trigger, but he's clenching it almost like it's a security blanket, and his knuckles have whitened.
It's a fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's his Klingon fidget spinner. It's his disruptor pistol.
His fidget disruptor.
You were facing down with this Romulan commander.
And her last line was, maybe they should die.
Maybe
for
it's
their
time
government.
for my Romulan crew to die for their government. A few beats pass, and as that sinks in, she says simply this. I'm going to give you 1 minute to make your decision, Captain. You can turn over the Romulans that you have captured to me, and we will be on our way. Or I will blast your pathetic little science vessel and scatter her remains across the atmosphere of Strethia for all to see.
I'm so sorry. I think maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I won't need a minute. I'll give you your crewmen. I'll give
Then
you
lower
crew
your
people.
shields and have them beamed aboard my vessel at once.
I'd love to. I just have a few questions. I'm a little confused, and I also want to apologize, Captain. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Like I said, I'm Rafael Martinez.
I am Commander Avrilius.
Commander Avrilius. Very lovely to be able to speak to you. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Get
and
to
again,
the point, Captain.
my point is there was a misunderstanding because clearly your ship did not intend to be the cause of putting innocent lives as well as your crew people in danger. There was some sort of a misunderstanding. I want to apologize on behalf of Starfleet for assuming that the Romulan Empire would, again, do that on purpose. It was clearly a misunderstanding, a scientific misunderstanding. I want to get your crew people. Do you want me to give them any sort of medical attention before I beam them over? Are you going to be all right checking on them? I mean, we can go ahead and do that before we send them over. I just want to make sure that everything is okay.
There's a silence as you finish talking.
I know, I've got probably 20 seconds. Like I said, I don't need it. We'll go ahead and lower our shields. So, Ensign, go ahead and lower the shields.
You feel, Sage, as the captain gives the order, you feel immediately, like, on the bridge, and Rue, just as the commander, as the XO, you would totally... I'm not even going to have you guys roll for this. The tension level rises dramatically on the bridge as you see a couple of the ensigns just look at each other.
As a show of good faith, Commander, so that you can lower your shields and then we can beam over your people. So you can go ahead and give that order as well, Commander.
Make a presence roll. This is going to be a presence command.
I'm just, my hand's like over I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I'm scared.
It's a presence command roll. Difficulty is 1.
Okie doke.
I'm also shivering, like
wrong.
I should go ahead.
dripping
Okay.
onto the buttons.
Something has changed.
I should go ahead and tell you, though, just in full disclosure, because of the nature of the way the last game ended and the way this one began, I started myself a 6 extra threat this game.
Me. Oh, why do I keep
Big
doing
pile
that?
of threat.
Stop making fun of the GM. It's not a good thing to do.
What'd you get? How many successes, if any? Difficulty at 1. 3? Okay.
We have 2 momentum.
Okay. Well, it was a contested roll. So normally you would gain momentum based off of her successes. You gain 3 momentum.
Ooh.
So 3 momentum.
So.
Because, well, or I'm sorry, 2 momentum.
Yeah,
because the difficulty was 1. So she kind of, it's clear that she's studying you. She kind of like leans in and looks at you for a moment and she says,
Sure.
Lower.
As soon as she says that, I lower the shields as well.
The shields on the Warbird go down. Weapons do not deactivate, but her shields do drop.
That's fine.
She turns back and says, I'm happy to see that you have seen reason, Captain.
Of course.
Clearly it was an accident.
Yes. There's no way it could have been anything else. It was an accident. Yeah.
In that case, I extend my thank you for saving 6 members of my crew.
No need, Commander. It was our honor. That's what Starfleet does. We take care of innocent life, including Strethia down here, this planet down here, in case you need to update any sort of records or anything, has now become an ally of Starfleet, and not only Starfleet, but the Klingon Empire as well. We have I'm sure you've heard the news, but there's a bit of a special case with a nearby starbases, believe it or not, and I would not believe it until I saw it with my own eyes, which I did, a bit of a collaboration between the Empire and Starfleet.
Who
in
else
fact, we've got a Klingon friend of ours right here on the bridge.
Okay, real quick, you're on the bridge too, isn't that correct, Talon?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm trying to remember the layout. So if I remember correctly, Ensign Kim on Voyager was at the science station. That's actually back to where Talosh
Yes.
at the science station. So as almost very ominously as the captain is saying all this, Talash's facial expression changes as Martinez begins to say this to the Romulan commander, and he leans over to you, Vulcan, and says, "That was a mistake." And then as you introduce him, y'all are watching the facial expressions of the commander start to change suddenly and grow cold again. And Talosh, hearing him being referenced, Martinez, steps into view, steps down the ramp, rounding the corner, and comes to a stop next to Commander Rue at their station, and just stands there and stares daggers at the commander on the screen.
This is our delegate. This is Commander Talosh, and like I said, it's a special case. It's not normally what the rest of the sector is up to right now, but there is a collaboration at this nearby starbase. And the reason I'm letting you know this, Commander, is that in case the Romulan Empire has any interest in the Trillium that is on Strethia, then quite frankly, it's out of my hands, and there would have to be a bit of a request put in to that nearby starbase for trade routes to possibly open up or anything like that. So again, just to sort of update your records, we got them their people, right? Did we beam over? Chief, can we go ahead and...
Martinez is going to need to make another roll. This is going to be...
As he's saying this, my hand is slowly just kind of hovering over the shield.
You're not the only one on the bridge sweating bullets right now.
Oh, I'm freaking out. But you can't tell I'm sweating because I'm still dripping from the water.
It's handy, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
Martinez,
I'm freaking out.
I'm going to have you make another presence command roll here.
The fact that I'm with the shields to begin with.
Difficulty is again 1. And this is going to be a roll off. I'm going to spend threat to add an extra die here.
I will spend momentum.
Yeah, take it.
Please do.
Yes.
Let me know when I can get an insight roll off of her.
I'll let you do it as soon as this roll is over with. Because it's going to be pertinent to the reaction that she's going to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hit me in at the ideal time. I'm good.
Okay, so difficulty is 1.
Difficulty 1, okay. Whoops. Oh, it got away from me, sorry.
I have it, Captain.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought I had it.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to get it? I got it. Oh.
Did you get it?
Thank you so much. And,
Okay.
ooh, all right.
Alrighty then. Let's see here.
That was a reaction.
Yes, it was.
Here we go. Okay.
I don't like that face.
Okay, what'd you get? How many successes?
4.
4.
4 successes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Oh, I see.
Crits right there, boom, boom.
I didn't realize. Yep.
Okay. 4 successes. Now, Rue, go ahead and make your insight check.
All right. I'd like a
And-
momentum for that.
Yep.
I am also going to burn a momentum
Okay.
to... Give me 1 sec. So I'm going to pull out the book. All right. Man, oh man.
Like Aurelius or something like that.
Rue, if you want to go ahead and make your roll, the difficulty is going to be 1 here.
Okay.
And that will be the starting roll. Where are the NPCs here?
Okay. Okay.
Just need to get... Man, I love the Excelsior class. That is a gorgeous ship.
Well, I have good news. There's one right over there.
Okay.
You're in luck.
Same way there.
Spinning a threat for an extra die. Okay. What'd you get?
3.
Okay.
Do we get any momentum from any of those?
You're gonna get momentum for. Actually, do you get momentum? Did we decide you get momentum if you succeed in the roll but don't beat your opponent? I think it's only the opponent gets the momentum first.
You only get net momentum.
That's correct.
If it's 0, then there's no net to get.
Okay.
What about Hector's roll?
But ties go to the active.
I think we're about to find
the
out.
player.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
No, to the defender.
So, Rue, Martinez is saying this, and you're seeing the facial expressions change on her face. It's really starting to, as you realize you cannot get any kind of read on her, you're beginning to remember all of the training you went through at Starfleet about Romulans. There is no race harder. I mean, if there was ever a race that had a good poker face, she's like she's like reading a mannequin. You really cannot tell what she is thinking. Her expression shifts to neutral. For a brief moment, you thought maybe she had softened a little bit, and now it's complete. It's ice. You can't get anything off of her. You have no idea what she's thinking right now. And whereas Tolosh is very expressive, and as he takes that position next to you, he looks like a Klingon. He wants her to fire. He wants a reason. Like, he's sitting there growling at her, and she has gone completely stoic. She says, "We were not aware of any Trillium deposits."
Oh, well, again, if you needed to update your records. So if that's something that the Empire would be interested in opening up negotiations and trading with the Strethian people, and it probably go through some delegates from both Starfleet and the Klingon Empire. But again, that's just extra information. That's just an FYI, so.
Thank you for sharing that information, Captain.
You're very welcome, Commander.
We will receive our crew members now.
Absolutely, yes. Chief?
Yep, on it, Captain.
Great.
So you're
Captain,
Yes.
do I give them their weapons back?
Well, just so you know, they actually have their weapons on them
said
still.
they got stripped?
But they were deactivated in transport,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of a standard thing
in
when
the
you're bringing a
brig, yeah.
hostel on board.
Yeah. Good looking out,
I
yeah.
thought that meant like taken off of them.
No, they've literally been.
Got
Their weapons will not function now. They have to be
Ever?
based. No, they'll function
Oh,
again,
bummer.
but they're not going to function while they're in. Yeah.
Scramble.
Okay, so you're beaming them from. You're doing a site to site essentially. You're not beaming them to transporter pads. You're beaming them out of the brig and onto the Romulan vessel. So this is going to be a roll.
Yep. I've been
And that was the day the war started.
I
Thank
can
you.
transport them to the transporter.
I've been seeing you joke on Twitters.
Oh, you saw that. All right. So Sally is going to help here.
Okay.
So you've got that going for you.
Okay.
Music. Nice.
Commander Rue's got that.
What's the
You got
difficulty?
that going for you. So the difficulty is going to be 2.
Do you want to take it?
Yes.
All right. Momentum.
Yep, absolutely.
Guys.
Come on, Uhura.
As you actually beam them back to Strethia.
Preferably not inside out, Chief. Just, just.
How strong
No
do we feel about that
promises.
preference, sir?
What's the control engineering? Just standard?
Actually, I'm going to say on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll do that. Control engineering.
And Our Lady of Perpetual Secrets?
The
Sally's going to make a computer's.
Yay.
I think it's her standard role, isn't it? Computers in her engineering check.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Crit from Sally.
Yes.
Okay. What'd you get, Gina?
I got 3 successes.
All right, that's a good
So-
start to the game.
2 momentum.
All right, cool.
3.
So
3 momentum.
Wait, because
A crit from Sally plus 3.
oh, a
on
crit.
difficulty
That's right.
2.
yeah,
A crit.
you got a crit. All right, so
The prisoners or the people have been successfully transported, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
and as Ren is reporting that from the transporter room, you see she on the screen leans back, kind of keeping eye contact with you, and listens to somebody saying something to her off the screen, and nods and says, "I'm glad this could end peacefully, Captain."
Me as well. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you, Commander.
Cuts off. You just see a Romulan warbird, and you watch the scale of this ship is phenomenal. Starfleet intelligence, this is one of the ships that you had to study in tactics as well as you, Commander. Again, the firepower that this kind of vessel is capable of raining down
Just want to cut you off real quick. I say, Ensign Shields, back up, please.
Shields up, Captain.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go on. Please go on describing this beautiful ship.
The point is not only does this ship dwarf the Sally Ride, but in firepower, you made a very good call on this, and you watch too that eerie sort of like hushed breath sound as the image of this warbird begins to waver, and all of a sudden you can see the stars through its hull as it fades from existence, engaging its cloaking device. And you're left with just the ambient hum and quiet of the Sally Ride as you're in orbit.
I get up from, I was already standing up at the view screen, and I turn around to address the bridge, and I just say, good work, everybody, really good work. That could have gone way worse. Good work.
I will say this, with those impressive rolls, the captain, to everybody viewing him, with those rolls, the captain did not waver, did not seem nervous, did not just totally, like, you see the bridge crew is kind of...
I thought he was crazy.
There's like a quiet moment of like, everyone's exhaling at this point.
And I'm trying to convey that in that moment I do sort of relax a little bit to, and if that comes through, that's fine. But I just, I exhale a sigh of relief.
Okay.
Lock eyes with Commander Talash and kind of give him a smile like, oh, no, thanks.
The commander looks back at you and says, not the way a Klingon would have handled it.
I don't disagree. Yeah, you're right, Commander. Okay, well, I'm assuming then that we're going to have to check in with the doctor and get the Strethians that we have beamed aboard that are receiving medical attention probably back down to their planet here pretty soon, wouldn't you say, Commander?
Aye, sir. Do we have any guarantee that this warbird isn't going to try to rip the trillium out of the crust of Strethia? They can very well still be here.
They can't.
No idea.
No, which is why I'm going to report back to what was the name of the starbase again?
Narendra Station.
Narendra Station, yeah. What was the specific number for starbase? I didn't write that down.
Oh, Narendra Station starbase?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Starbase 364.
364, right. I'll be reporting back to 364 and letting them know that we'll probably need some sort of a security detail, if not from us, from somebody, hell, even the Klingons, if they're out here, just to, because we don't have that guarantee, Commander, so. And these people are vulnerable, but at least now, diplomatically speaking, I feel that the Romulans wouldn't make any moves because it's all out in the air now. It's all out in the open. We have our records. We're going to report back to Starfleet. They know that we have these records, and they know that their records, as far as we know, are also going to reflect that. So, but to answer your question, no guarantee.
Sorry, I was just thinking, it's basically Hector saying, we have a body cam, everything's good.
Yeah, which doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
Doesn't always mean shit, but that's the best we got right now is we have a body cam.
Essentially,
Yep.
Yeah, if Strethia does get hurt, then we totally have evidence.
Right, that's,
It'd be so great if they didn't.
Captain, it is curious to me that Romulans, who are very passionate race, would have the mental discipline to uphold such a disingenuous front to what they were doing. Clearly they were.
Talash just kind of, I would have called them stupid, but
But it is rare that a Romulan is able to hold that type of secret.
That's a good observation, Lieutenant Commander, yeah.
This may not be a typical Romulan we're dealing with.
This Commander Avrilius, was it? Avrilius?
Avrilius.
Avrilius. Might not be a typical Romulan indeed.
It's been my experience, Captain, that if you run into a Romulan that doesn't answer to your stereotypes, you've either been a fool or you've just met a member of the Tal Shiar.
I agree.
Well,
who's to say one or the other?
Well, I think we at Starfleet would like to think we don't buy into stereotypes, but we know that's not the truth. Yeah.
Talash looks at you with sort of an approving eye and nods.
There is a difference between stereotypes and learned behaviors that people exhibit. If they play into their learned behaviors that are typical to their culture, then perhaps that does lie within a stereotype, but it is also their exhibited behavior.
And it would be especially foolish to not take into account a current political situation. Obviously, you can understand that, Commander Talash.
Of course, but I also side on the thought that a dead Romulan is much more delightful to look at.
Okay, I don't know how that quite related to this conversation, but yeah, okay, sure. That's a great thought. That's a great thought to have, sure.
Stereotypes we were talking about.
Oh, right. Okay, I got it. Gotcha.
I find it is much easier to judge your opponent when you are lifted of the burden of giving a damn of whether or not they live in peace.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one.
He nods. Yes.
Yes. Great.
Sorry.
By the way, good work, Ensign.
That's one.
Good work, Ensign, keeping your cool.
Apparently, your sweat has completely intermingled with the seawater.
Yeah. No one. I'm like.
No one knows. Well done, Sage.
Thank you, Captain.
Doing my job.
I'm just imagining a drenched Sage.
And
so,
I'm still shivering.
go ahead, Hector.
Commander, I'd also like to request commendations for Chief Wren and Dr. Shishiros, as well as Ensign Sage. Everybody performed well above expectations, so good work.
I need to cut down to... We're going to cut the scene down to sick bay.
Great, we lose a momentum?
Yes. Okay. Subtract 1 momentum. Doctor. I need you to make a control medicine check. Difficulty is 2. You have the assistance of a nurse next to you. So I'm going to roll for that assist. But this is essentially... You're doing tissue regeneration right now, and you're also disinfecting this patient. I mean,
Lieutenant Collins or someone else?
It's Lieutenant Collins.
Okay.
Again, like, you were able to stabilize him. Now it's trying to get him so that he can exist on life support while his body heals.
Sure.
So I need you to. This is essentially a healing of an injury check that I'm doing to stabilize him now. So go ahead and make a control medicine check. Difficulty is 2. And I'm going to have the instant roll for you. Let's use an Ox Crew. Well, guess what? I pulled out names from the Ox Crew chat this week. So if I'm about to say your name out loud, Ox Crew. If you're twitching your head, cocking your head to the side, going, "Wait, I'm not a nurse." Well,
Emergency! It's emergency time, guys. Here's when we need you.
It's a smaller crew. Everybody does multiple things.
Yeah.
It's true. Everybody does a little bit of everything. Everybody's trained. You guys are the officers.
Yeah, I exo and beat the crap out of people.
Oh no! I didn't bring the sheet.
Do you need a sheet? I got a sheet.
Oh no! I didn't bring the sheets.
Here, look.
You need one?
Look who has one.
Tell you
Update,
what.
though.
Thank you. Yeah, I printed that thing out, but the thing was so small. I had trouble reading it,
It's
so
really
I just
tiny,
picked
yeah.
randomly. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Getting that momentum back.
Where did our captain? Oh, really?
Yeah, really?
Sweet.
Getting that momentum back.
'Cause our
Thank you for
captain
helping your
was
GM.
prepared.
It's
A
out of
lot of
date,
new
but whatever,
viewers
we
tonight
got
that are
momentum.
going like, what the fuck is going on?
Welcome.
Okay, so let's see.
I have been informed it might be a little out of date, but
I can pull up the
Current?
Wow, this is great. You
crew
guys come
roster.
up with some really great names.
I know. They're such good names.
but
Every-
they
every-
didn't give me access to the new version.
They didn't give you access to the. They don't want
Panzer,
Commander
I see
Killjoy looking at it.
Probably because there's some stowaways on the ship that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. There are 257 rooms on
And
this
apparently,
ship.
apparently, one occupation was stowaway.
Yeah,
I was like,
I saw
guys, come on.
I felt so bad.
Let's do this.
Leonardo
It's that
DiCaprio,
person's
come on.
getaway.
Yeah, for the 5
Let's
minutes.
do this as a special shout out. I'm gonna say that you have a Bajoran nurse named Tora Rawl.
All right.
Cool.
What's her rank?
We'll say she's lieutenant.
Tora Rawl.
That should make you rather deliriously happy, Kato. All right.
Hope it makes up for no combat.
So that's one. We're just going to what I'll do moving forward too for the Ox Crew and people who submit their characters and whatnot. What we'll do moving forward is if you guys want to include your rank and also which department you work in, and what I can do is I'll just go through and I'll make a random table generator, and that'll be able to speed
I would
this up a
love to
bit.
know who's in the engineering room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be pretty rad.
Yeah.
So let's do that. I mean,
I can get you guys sheets.
yeah, Ox Crew,
It's
you guys have
already
been
in there,
great
yeah.
giving us your character
Yeah.
names. We'll get them categorized so that we can use them all.
I think
and
it's
start
already
implementing
categorized.
this.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, I just don't have access to the sheet anymore.
Oh, the wiki?
Oh, I'm
No, the
sorry.
little
She actually
sheet.
does have this categorized.
Yeah.
Kato, Toral is actually an engineer.
Yours. Hi.
Well, you know what? You're an engineer with some basic medical training. You're currently assisting.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're currently assisting our
I
doctor.
gave her leave.
What are bodies but machines?
Yeah. So,
Rue has feelings.
all right. So let's jump to it. So, Doctor, did you make your roll difficulty is 2?
Difficulty is 2.
Yeah. And we're gonna do. Let's see here. I've got the basic stats here.
I've requested the Lieutenant Rawl have the anabolic protoplaser on standby.
Yeah, she does.
She's like, I'm an engineer. What is that? Just kidding.
Technobabble.
Yeah. I know everyone should have a technobabble chart on the show.
Oh man,
My target's only.
I enjoy
things.
don't speak medicine to Instant Sage. It'll
Tactical.
kill you.
We should have.
Tactically.
And what we should do is have an
torpedo
anatomy table for you, Rue. So I hit the skull and the other.
Cautious.
Oh my God! Really? What'd you roll?
Cautious. It's
I'm using my cautious to get rid of the 20 I just rolled.
It's the bestest. Now, don't Gina.
Oh, that's way better.
It hit my hand, but it kept rolling and then landed.
If it
Okay,
lands
here we go.
clean and does not land cocked, then
Okay.
and in your designated roll space, it's okay. Floor dice don't count. Floor dice don't
floor
exist.
dice.
Cool.
On board with all that.
Okay.
1,
So which
2. Is this emergency medicine?
I would definitely say this is emergency medicine. Yeah.
Fantastic. 1, 2. That doesn't matter. It was a natural crit. 1, 2, 3, 4 successuses from me.
Okay. Well, you get another one from the lieutenant.
Two
you.
momentum. Wait, three momentum.
Yeah, you get another one
We are maxed out.
from. So yeah, you
are at
run
Kirk
you
levels.
run the regenerator just over the top, and just you watch as the flesh begins to fuse back together. The bruising on the inside of the skin is already beginning to clear up. It's literally, it's just like watching the color bleed away into a nice healthy color. Still a little pale, but as you're watching, after you close it up, you kind of glance over to the large readout computer screen on the side that's giving a full internal body scan, and you're seeing the trauma is already correcting as you're regenerating that he's going to live. He's going to make it. He'll be in sickbay probably for the next few days, and then probably be off. You probably should not resume duties for the next 2 weeks.
Lieutenant Rawl, can you have a message sent to Lieutenant Baker to let her know that her team is here, and some of them might be ready to start talking to her?
Right away. All right.
I have the sheet now.
Unless y'all can think of anything else, we can now cut back down to Strethia as things have normalized and the Strethians are being returned.
Let's just real quick, let's kind of talk out if anybody has any things in their inventory list. I imagine it's heal Strethians, get them back to the planet. Again, just like what you're doing, Doctor, just checking in with everybody and whoever needs what medical attention that they can get that. Was there anything else? This was just a rescue operation. There's
This is
no
essentially the last wrap-up scene from
Right.
we didn't get to
Right.
finish from
Correct.
the last episode.
Yeah.
We should probably
So-
just update the president on letting him know,
That'll
or what,
happen,
letting
yeah.
them know
Yeah.
what the
The situation.
the situation, and it
Status,
wasn't
yeah.
us. It was the Romulans, and yeah,
It may
Watch
be
out.
prudent.
and
Visible ships?
yeah, and well, just to make them aware that we'll do what we can. But
Yeah.
It may be also prudent to debrief Lieutenant Baker, or at least get any
Okay.
any debriefing from her that post mission.
Oh yeah, let me roll for Dorothy real quick, Miss Baker. Make a quick roll for her because I needed to find out.
And then whatever, with the records that we have of the other, what was it, 100 and
Trend
something
continues.
bodies that didn't make it, 100 something people
yeah.
that didn't make it, to go through those records. And I'm
Okay.
sure that
Figure out who
Starfleet has a
survived, who
procedure for
didn't.
an emergency situation like this, kind of a natural disaster or whatever.
Sure, what is it you wanted to do?
Well, just again, to when we head down to Strethia, to check in with the leadership, to just let them know, here's who didn't make it from the.
Oh yeah, a survivors list is compiled.
all of this,
and
just
they're
the kind
able
of
to- yeah.
okay, what's the rebuilding plan? What's the how can we get in there and rebuild
Okay.
all of that stuff.
So we'll take into account that over the next few hours that the Strethians that are on board the Sally Ride get squared away, and in groups they're beamed back down to the planet side. Are you going to be messaging the president from the Sally Ride, or are you going down to speak face to face?
Oh, we'll go face to face.
Okay.
But I do want to check and see at what point we would need to. Can we be in communication with registration? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now remember,
update them.
There's a bit of a lag here because of the subspace anomalies.
Yeah.
I just rolled for Lieutenant Baker to see how she's been doing to try to map out those anomalies. She did great, and the answer she got is we just don't have enough data yet to actually be able to map it out. There hasn't been enough exploration in this sector to actually be able to accurately predict based off the gravitational anomalies patterns that we've seen so far. So she isn't able, essentially what I'm saying is that you can send a subspace message, but it might be 3 to 4 hour delay before you get a reply.
Well, then I will prioritize that to put that at the top.
Okay.
That when everybody's doing their stuff on the ship, I'll head into my ready room or conference room. Commander can join me to just for us to like get it on record, to get it to Narendra to say this is what's happening. The Romulans were here. This is what they did, and I don't care if the Klingon Empire is aware of this. Like,
okay,
okay,
you're not hiding it.
Yeah, no, there's no hiding or anything. There's no.
Tolosh does invite himself into your.
Fine,
I mean, he follows you. He follows you both in as you walk in and listens to you make the report.
And then I would imagine that the Sally Ride would then request that there be some sort of a security posted out here, just like whatever they can afford, if that's something that Narendra can afford. I don't know.
We don't really have the ships for a picket, but I was beginning to think about the viability of a small-scale orbital tachyon grid. Perhaps.
Not a bad idea, Commander.
An alert warning system.
Absolutely.
Precisely.
And then now we know what sort of energy to look out for in case there is another earthquake on Strethia that has never happened in the planet's history, as far as they know. So
I have some advice for you on that one, Captain.
Commander, please.
Be aware that if you create anything that uses tachyon technology, the Romulans will get very angry with you. Not saying that's not a reason not to do it. It's just saying they'll be aware that you're keeping an eye out for them.
Well, it might be a risk we have to take.
I say take it. Better to know that they're coming. Romulan won't care one way or the other. You're simply denying them an advantage. It'll raise the stakes, but what are your options? Yeah. Besides, what you know, the Klingon Empire will know.
That's true. Yeah, there's no reason not to share this information. Then yeah, we can put in that request, Commander, certainly.
I don't shy from the provocation, but given that we don't have any ships to support a picket, without cooperation from the Klingon Empire, it would be provocative without being especially useful.
Oh, you can see what I can see what the General might say to such a thing.
Okay. We'd appreciate that, Commander. Again, the whole goal is just to try to help innocent Strethian lives. I don't want Romulans to come and accidentally or purposely kill some of them just to try to get at some trillium.
I think by now you've come to realize that I am not your typical Klingon. Would you say that is accurate, Captain?
Yeah, and I'd like to think that you would consider us not your typical Starfleet vessel and crew.
Unfortunately, I find you very typical.
Very typical. That's too bad. All right.
It's not meant as an insult, Captain.
I don't take it as one. It's a compliment.
I tell you this because... No. I will keep my reasons to myself.
No, Commander, please, go ahead and give us your reasons. This is fine. This is a safe space.
Safe space.
Yeah. Starfleet specializes in those. You like working out in one of them. That's a holodeck. That's another word for holodeck, so go ahead.
I removed the safety features when I train in your holodeck.
I think you did. But, sorry. We can't actually make it lethal.
Captain, I have no quarrel with the Federation. I am very outspoken in my opinions about Chancellor Gowron and his crusade against the Federation right now.
Yeah.
I think it is a power play and an attempt to keep himself relevant.
You're probably right.
I think the Dominion is the real threat, though I confess a certain amount of satisfaction at the invasion of Cardassia. My point is, Captain, and I'm doing this as a favor to you, best not to talk too much about Strethia when you return to Narendra Station. My government may not be any nicer than the Romulans would be to these people.
I hear what you're saying.
The General is a fool, and he resents his position on the station.
I can see that.
Your Admiral is the only thing keeping him from destroying everything and spending Klingon lives where they do not need to be spent.
You think he'd go after Strethia?
If he knew there was Trillium, yes. The Klingon Empire does not believe in exploration, Captain. We conquer.
Right.
And as far as I know, this is not Federation space. That Romulan could have blown us out of the sky, and the Federation would have been able to do nothing.
Well, we would have done something, but I hear what you're saying.
Not on this side of the neutral zone, Captain. Not when we're on your front line.
So what would you recommend?
Best say you rescued the first contact team. You found a race of insignificant fish people.
Okay, we'll
you
word it a little
saved your
differently.
away team, confronted Romulans, humiliated them, and came home.
So now why would the Romulans be out here?
Who cares? The General won't. The only thing he'll mind is that he'll have final confirmation that they are operating in the area.
That itself disrupts the balance of power at Narendra, sir.
How so?
Because what the Romulans are doing is provocative to the Klingons. This is poking around their unprotected eastern flank while all of their attentions are turned west.
Do you think that they would divert their attention? That the Empire would order the General to withdraw from Narendra Station, let's say, and then go after some Romulans?
I think that if there's anything that could send more ships this way, it would be Romulan provocation.
Romulan provocation. Well, there's an old Earth phrase that kind of sums up our situation, and that would be that we're between a rock and a hard place. It's pretty self-explanatory.
I like that expression.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. You can have it. You can use it. All right, so then here's what we'll do. Commander, do we have the technology aboard this vessel that we can afford to part with to possibly set up that tachyon sensor that you were describing earlier?
Admiral Eric, given that Enterprise could use its own tech for a much larger grid, can the smaller Intrepid do that?
The Enterprise was using it in conjunction with other starships. It was creating a net itself.
Yeah.
So you could...
Let's see, how many points of access?
Could we do like a probe or something?
You might be able to get
Sort of a
inventive
satellite probe?
and create an artificial satellite that can do perhaps a tachyon pulse.
We can do it.
That'll take some development,
Yeah.
but it can be done. Yes, you can launch a satellite into orbit that could perhaps. It's not going to be, to be perfectly honest, it's not going to be that efficient because it is going to have to orbit the planet, of course, and you're not going to have line of sight on every corner of the planet. So you're not going to have a net, but you can basically have what would be essentially a sonar buoy that you'd be leaving out in orbit of the planet that would occasionally ping the upper atmosphere. It might take the Romulans by surprise, but if they see it first, they'll be able to
They just
compensate
shoot it.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just shoot at it.
Sure.
But what if we put tachyon pulse emitters into existing Strethian satellites?
Ooh.
Because they do
They
have
have full
satellites, right?
coverage, just like a
And
GPS system.
and they've got a moon base, and they've got
Do you want to roll to see what the viability of that is? Or do you want to get...
of their of
I
like their
would want to
technology?
get engineering consultancy.
I was about to say,
from that.
you might want to get one of your engineer heads up here.
That's a great idea, Commander. Let's go ahead and get one of
Tamala?
our. There we go.
Yes, Commander?
We could use some of your engineering expertise in the ready room.
Oh, yeah, okay. Be there, soon.
I think she was going to say now, but then her inner scientist wouldn't let her say something that she knew was a scientific impossibility.
I think as an engineer, she's probably used to unrealistic time expectations from her command staff.
Yeah.
Moments later, stepping into the ready room, it's getting a little crowded in here as you step in, thanks to the overwhelming size of this Klingon, who steps off to the side as you step up to your commanding officers.
Chief, I'll bring you up to speed. We're probably not going to tell Narendra Station that we found Trillium on Strethia.
Oh, okay.
Because if the Klingons find out, then they might come and, as Commander Tolosh just said, might not be as nice as Starfleet is to the Strethian people. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a commander.
We want a tachyon pulse grid at an orbital level in order to try to detect cloaks. We think we might be able to set up one buoy, but I wanted to gauge the viability of putting pulse emitters in Strethian satellites. They'll be harder to detect and have more coverage.
Possibly even their moon base.
So, you think that could be done, Chief?
Make a roll. This is going to be a...
Mama goes quiet in thought.
This is going to be a reason engineering check.
Okay.
Do you have
momentum?
Do you have any focuses, Mala, that might help you here?
I'm assuming systems augmentation.
This is sure you're gonna...
Yes.
That's perfect.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
That's an excellent, yes. Systems augmentation, absolutely.
Did we get a command assist from this?
Yes, I'll give you a command assist. You basically coming
Chief,
up
do
with,
that thing.
You coming up with the idea.
I did.
Kind of
that
like
was
spitballing?
Commander coming up with that
Sure.
idea.
So the
happy
command
to-
assist specifically, just for our new viewers, can you recap what it is?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it real quick. Whenever you assist using the command discipline, the character being assisted may reroll 1d20.
Ooh.
Nice.
And so
Make
you
your
also
roll.
get to make a 1d20.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right.
What do I roll in the assist? Same
Presence
thing?
command.
Presence command.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Do you get to reroll yours?
The difficulty is 2, so you'll know.
No cautious command.
Do you have cautious?
No, I've got,
telling you, it's so good.
Commander, that can absolutely be done, and I really want to do it. Can I do it like
Well-
soon?
Wait.
And by
well-
soon I mean now.
How many successes did you get?
A lot.
Tell me how many.
5.
All right.
Whoa. Did you
Okay.
take the
We're
thing
maxed
even?
out. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
But we're
what did
maxed
you-
out now anyway.
What did you get?
Twice.
I got a natural 20. I don't think I have any way to... Was I not clear in my... I'm so sorry. Was I...
Did you reroll? Any of
Yes.
those? Okay.
I am awarding
think you
myself
can-
a
yeah.
complication.
All right, you can take it. Whatever.
Wait, I re-rolled with my cautious.
He rolled a 20.
If you have
Yeah,
that.
but
I-
wait,
rewarding
she
yourself?
rolled with her cautious, so he could technically
I had
roll.
2 re-rolls. If you want to re-roll.
No, he can't reroll. He has to have cautious.
It's an assist, and
It's
I
an
don't.
assist roll, and he rolled a
Oh, yeah, I think
complication.
you
So
can
I
roll
have
with the
threat.
ship, not for an assist.
history
Yeah.
buff and some
So
other
I get
useless
get
crap.
one threat. Actually, you know, I'm not gonna pull it. I'm just gonna have it happen here. So with that complication, here's what you know, Mala.
Yes.
Yeah, this can be done. It's
Yeah.
a hell of an undertaking, and Sally Ride does not have all the supplies she needs in order to do this. You'll also
street,
need.
yeah.
You're also going to need more. You're also going to need more personnel to help you accomplish this. This is probably going to take a couple of weeks to pull off. But the Strethians do have enough technological acumen to help you here, so that's going to shave off some time. But this is you're basically talking about modifying the entire satellite net above a planet that's larger than Earth, and setting up basically a brand new tachyon grid using alien tech that you're only just now getting familiar with. You can do it, but this is going to be a hell of an undertaking, and you're going to need help from Narendra Station.
Okay.
But yes, it can be done.
All right, take back everything I said. I got very excited. It can be done still, but
Caveat,
it's going to
caveat.
take a while, and I'm going to need a lot more help. And, you know, it might take a while.
Tell us what you need.
I need to get down to Strethia. I'm going to need to talk to their personnel, and we're going to have to... I'm going to need to get in the guts of these satellites before, you know, see what things I need to tweak, things I need to rip out, things I need to put in.
All right. Then you'll come with us down to the planet?
I can't see a better use of our time than trying to set this thing up, so
Also, while I'm down there, I might be able to help out with their blackout under the ocean, so...
great.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
So here goes the rebuilding of Strethia.
So let's cut to Strethia. Go ahead and take a momentum off.
Yep.
We're going to start in the presidential palace again. This, again, gorgeous Grecian-looking palace made with marbles. As I've described it before, it very much looks like sort of the old Earth interpretations of what Atlantis might look like if it was kind of sticking up out of the water still. So it does have that almost a fantastical element to it, but with an alien architecture to it. The whole news network on this planet has become aware of everything that's transpired over the past few hours. Think of it like the 24-hour news cycle, the god-awful 24-hour news cycle on our own planet, and it's going non-stop right now. So as you're entering the presidential palace and being led in to where you see the president, Janut, behind the desk, they're watching this huge holographic display that's wrapping around the front of this desk that looks like it's being... This is your first time seeing the presidential desk itself. It is a gorgeous amalgamation of technology and coral that is carved up out of the rock, and it looks like the coral is living. And that it has seawater just constantly in a very gentle flow running down the sides of it to keep the coral oxygenated and alive.
How pretty.
And the president is sitting there just leaning over looking at this big holographic display. And when he sees you walk in, the guard turn very respectfully and stand at attention as the president stands up. Just, Captain, I'm so pleased to see you. Please, have a seat. Commander, please.
Love to. Just to clarify too, if the doctor can be pulled away from what she was doing, all 6 of us are here.
Yeah, I would say by now you've done all you can do, and Collins needs to rest.
Yep.
Matazi can take over there. At this point, I'm ruling that the Streethians have been beamed back to the planet after receiving medical attention, and now focus is turned towards the Starfleet personnel.
Mm-hmm. Are they with us, the recently rescued Streethians?
Not in the presidential palace, but they have been returned to Streethia, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're all walking in, the president, his sort of anxious demeanor that was very apparent on their face before, now they are exhibiting just excitement to see you. Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful desk. You're gonna have to show us how to build that. That's cool. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful.
Yeah, actually, Mala, do me a solid and roll a insight engineering check.
2 successes. Wait, yes, wait. Yes.
I got distracted by, because the solids is what they call, changelings call normal people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just kind of going to a joke, and then thankfully I stopped myself.
Were you making a changeling joke?
Changeling jokes, yeah, I was going to do
Is the president of Streethia a changeling?
Oh my goodness.
The entire planet.
Were you just having like a changeling daydreaming?
What's going on?
You were on fire. All right. So I'm sorry, how many successes did you get? The difficulty was 2. 2? Okay. Mala, something you have started to notice, this being your 3rd time down, or the 2nd time down on the planet, I believe.
2nd.
So something you have started to notice as an engineer is there is actually some tech the Streethians are using that you've never seen in the Federation before. Something that's kind of made Mala curious with those successes, I'll say one of the things that's made Mala curious is it is unto itself, for a species that's only just achieved warp flight, it is a remarkable achievement to build a hydrothermal power plant 67 kilometers below the surface of the water.
Yeah.
It's not surprising necessarily for an aquatic race like this, but they clearly have a perfect understanding of engineering, both that they have a city on their moon and one at the lowest point in their planet.
And life,
and
I would say.
I was going to say, the way they have blended technology seamlessly and harmoniously with a lot of the organic life of this planet is kind of utopian. And it's starting to really register with Mala as she is walking into this room and seeing all of this. The desk itself, the engineering minutia, the finery of it, it's a work of art from an engineer standpoint. And it's a desk.
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking at this thing. It's pretty remarkable, and it's. I'm going to say with those successes, Mala is waking up to the fact that there could be a technology exchange that would be beneficial to the Federation here. So President Janut steps around the side of the desk, and in a very human-like fashion, assumes position at front of the desk, and then leans back on it to address all of you, and says, "Of course, my world has been abuzz as I am learning of your vernacular. Has been speaking constantly about the incredible rescue efforts, and of course of the intruders that were recently detected in our atmosphere. But you have saved all of the living personnel down on the station, Strethia is very much in your debt, and I would like to personally extend my thank you to you and your crew for risking your lives to save my people.
President Yanu, no thanks are necessary. It was our duty and it was our pleasure, and I honestly wish we had just gotten here sooner.
Were you able to determine what the cause of the seismic event was?
Yes, that's why we came down here to speak with you. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to ask them and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. But the intruders were the source of the seismic event. They utilized some of their technology to cause the tremors, cause the quakes under the ocean, to try to get at a resource that we call trillium that is in your planet, and it is very valuable.
I'm not aware of that resource.
Well, you're unfortunately going to have to become very aware of it very soon. I'm going to cut to the chase. I wanted to speak with you, President Yanu, to try to open up the possibility of leaving a bit of a defensive early warning system, possibly in your satellites. I have reason to believe that they won't be. It's a bit of a dicey political situation right now, but my commander here has very realistically informed me that the reality is that Starfleet doesn't have as much of a presence out here as it does in other areas of the galaxy. So for that reason, it's we have a mission and we're going to go and get to it, but my chief was letting me know that it might be a few weeks, this project that I would like to discuss with you and undertaking, and possibly using whatever help we can, and I think we ourselves would even have to head back to our nearby starbase to get materials and possibly some personnel and then even come back. So this is a bit of a project, a bit of an undertaking, but we want to leave you with everything that we can.
I see.
So that you can feel secure.
My counselors warned me that this might be an unintended side effect of being noticed in the greater galactic scheme of things, as they say.
I understand. Many worlds go through this process of weighing their options, as it were, and deciding how to step out onto the larger stage. And it's not easy for everybody. It wasn't even easy for all of us and our home worlds and where we came from. And all I can say is that in the end, I have observed myself that it is much more helpful to go through life with friends than without.
Well, then let me extend my hand in friendship, Captain, and tell you that the people of Strethia are a friend to the Federation, and grateful. My only request would be that, if at all possible, to whatever levels you are comfortable with, if we could have access to what you would feel to be the most pertinent information of your Federation databases to learn about the intruders and perhaps of your government and its history as well, so that we could perhaps get a better picture of what happens outside of our solar system.
Some of the most powerful weapons in the galaxy is information, so we are going to supply you with as much as we can so that you are informed.
Thank you, Captain. And with regards to this safety net that you speak of, what specifically, you said you needed to return to your starbase for more materials?
Possibly, yeah. Chief, did you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, hello again. I'm not sure what supplies I'll need. I'll have to poke around and see what the satellites need.
Poke around?
Look inside. See. I don't know.
Poke around.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I understand. When I graduated from our schools, I actually specialized in engineering long before I went into politics, so I understand what you mean. We, of course, have engineering teams and scientists that will be more than happy to contribute in any way.
I would love that. It's hard pushing the buttons you guys have. I would need some instructions.
I was curious about that, to be honest, young lady. I looked at all of your fingers and thought,
weird, right?
How will this work?
Weird, right? Sage got very good at it.
Yeah, I'm very, very good at your doors.
Yeah. Doors.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite a leap from door to satellite, but
Oh, of course.
we will be
I can
able
only
to supply
imagine.
any information that we can supply you with to make things easier. I imagine that will take some time as well. But of course, since you are willing to exchange information with us, we will make our databases and the history of our world completely available to you.
It would also be helpful to consult with your geologists. It could be that they know a little more about Trellium, perhaps by another name, and in case any of these attacks do occur, we can make sure any large sources of Trellium are evacuated for safety.
Evacuated, identified, guarded, whatever the case.
I have to make a confession. We don't have many geologists in this world. We
Makes
certainly
sense.
don't have an organized geology department in the government, and we have few resources allocated to the science of geology. As you may have noticed by now, Strethia is not very seismically active, and our ore, for the most part, has not played a large role in our history. We do have geologists. It just might take some poking around to find them.
Nice one.
Should learn more about the specialty. It rocks.
It would appear that it is something a new scientific endeavor that we must now engage in.
It's important, President Yanu, to not take anything for granted. So,
Oh.
I see.
Oh.
I see.
Why?
Your play on language is quite fascinating to me.
I don't know, what did I say? Did I say? Sure, it must have been something
You
in the
made a
Universal
pun,
Translator.
Captain.
Did I?
Yes, that
Okay.
was my third class.
Which means that she not only took one class
3
in comedy, there were at least 3 classes in comedy that Talon
Well, it's just logical.
Taught the pun class!
I'm just gonna say it was probably somebody. We'll call. You know what? We'll say the professor was a man named Saren Vilal.
What?
Saren Vilal.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, it's Darren DePaul, but I'm calling it Saren
Oh, nice.
No.
Vilal because if there was everyone.
Okay, now
Things
that
go
makes
over
sense.
my head.
Yeah.
That's great.
So the president's very accommodating, and with this foundation, an information exchange begins. Unless you guys have anything else, a wrap up before you return to Narendra Station. Essentially, their information exchange, you guys get tons of data from their planet. Engineering specs and whatnot, also the evolution of their engineering technology. The president was probably being a little humble because as you're getting more information, they do have geologists, they do have an entire science dedicated to geology, but you do see that the government funding on it is not quite up there. It seems like once they figured out how to work in harmony with the rocks, they were like, all we need to do is know how to drill them and we're moving on.
I'm sure that after the earthquake, there was one Strethian on the planet.
It was going, yeah!
Oh man! This is it!
My time has come!
Yeah, and so they went and got that person, like,
I got a raise!
we need your help.
The assistant professor
Yeah.
at the university.
Everyone was like, why are you studying that? There's so much water here.
There's like a whole story arc of like, you'll never amount to anything. Well, I'm going to be a geologist anyway, Dad.
I don't
and
care.
then just like going to university.
Water's our livelihood.
Let me know if it's in bounds to declare this, but if you have a name for a particular Strethian, I'd like to to tell the president that I would like to complain about so-and-so because despite their broken leg, they were hobbling around helping everyone.
Ganu.
What?
Ganu. is the
Ganu.
name. Ganu.
I think you should have a word with your researcher, Ganu. Tell them to stay off that leg.
Oh my god. Thrilla just told on someone to the president.
I will have them executed immediately.
That's a joke. You're good at jokes.
No. The president nods and says, I see. Thank you, Doctor. I'll see to it that they are properly admonished. With, perhaps a very disciplinary medal of heroism.
That sounds just like the doctor ordered.
Thank you again, Captain. We look forward to seeing you back here in Strethia. And of course, we will attempt to remain in contact. Your first contact team was kind enough to provide us with the technology to reach star base
364?
4.
Yes.
364. Narendra Station, I believe. Thank you again.
Great, thank you, President Yanu. All right, I think we're all done here. We can get to work. right?
Rock on. No, that's right.
It does bring up the question, like, imagine what the music must be like on this world, considering how sound translates underwater, and because this species has evolved from like a whale-like, or specifically a dolphin-like.
Eric, if you do this to me, we will stay on Streethia forever. You had me at sports and Waterworld, and now I'm dolphins, and now you're going into music. You're hitting me where I live.
I just, you know.
What if we heard
my
it
major
like,
is marine biology, so I had to do something with it, you know?
What if we heard it and didn't get it? What if we were like, that's weird.
With the music?
What if we hear it? Well, when you hear it outside of the water, it's probably like, ooh, and then as soon as it goes underwater, it's like
Star Trek 4.
Like
that was so cool.
Yeah.
Listening to the whale song outside the water.
Yeah.
All right, so the Sally, you guys beam on board the Sally ride. Wrapping up your business here. Did you have anything else?
Before we go, their tech is integrated with living.
Not all of it, but you notice,
Some of it.
but a lot of it, yeah.
The satellite will be or not.
No, the satellite is not integrated
not.
with organic material at all. Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just checking because I was
But
like,
they
what?
probably
No,
still-
Organic material in
I
space.
need to talk to many people on their planet first.
But the satellites probably still look cool, inspired by natural shapes in nature, I'm sure.
Yeah, you do notice that they.
Ours is Sputnik and it's boring.
It's
but
a
theirs is
flower.
probably-
You would,
yeah, like,
no, the satellites actually look very similar to old Earth satellites. They're much more technologically advanced, but they do follow the same aerodynamic patterns and delivery
I wanted
methods.
like a shell or something.
Yeah, little sea, like a clam.
Clam, a
No, their
starfish.
satellites do not look like something you can find on the
It's like a sea urchin, like a bunch of, right?
All right, so Sally Ride wrapping up her business.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave Streethia.
None of us want to go. We're just like,
One last look back on this beautiful
we've already had.
We've been here for what? Have we been here for weeks, or have we
No.
just set up the plan and we're gonna go get stuff and then come back at some point?
I mean, you've set up your intention. I mean, you don't know what your order is going to be upon arriving at Starbase, but
Right.
your intention is to return and give this information. And
Let me ask
debrief.
about that because when we got our rescue mission orders to come to Streethia, is part of that within Starfleet procedure, like, and you'll stay there for the cleanup if there's a, like what's the procedure? Like, if enemies approach, if Romulans show up?
They are not a Federation race.
Okay.
They're not a Federation species right now. They have not officially joined the Federation. You not only do you have no authorization to do stuff like that unless the planet specifically asks for it, which they haven't. But you're not actually it's kind of stepping. That means first contact rules are very very rigid about this sort of thing because those acts of compassion, unfortunately, have actually led to negative outcomes in the past. Because of how delicate first contact, even one that went as well as this one for you guys, it's still a delicate situation because it is first contact, and a lot of information is being disseminated on this new race all at once. Kind of because it has to be. They kind of got a trial by fire when a Romulan warbird showed up and tried to destroy one of their stations. So
I know that the requirements for first contact to even happen are that a planet needs to be a unified government and sort of like a peaceful, unified utopia or government or whatever is closest we can get to that, and they have warp capability.
which they do. It's only 2 years old, but they do have the capability of reaching warp 1.
So after first contact then happens, is the idea that, hi, we're Starfleet, would you like to join us at some point?
Traditionally,
Or like
no,
it's
not
just
like-
first contact and then bye?
No.
selective.
It really, it's a case-by-case thing. And in an ideal situation, the Federation would send down an entire diplomatic corps.
Yeah.
With scientists and doctors, and it would be that, you guys are dramatically undermanned for this.
Understaffed, absolutely.
Yeah, you all
Absolutely.
do not have you do not have the resources to actually integrate or even welcome them into the Galactic Society right now. It is an unfortunate situation, but let me put it this way: leaving them,
Good point.
you're doing all you can do.
Right.
The fact that you're going to upgrade their satellites to do what you're doing, you're already kind of going above and beyond right now. But it's the least you can do.
If there was
so
a
I can give
problem-
the GM is giving Martinez some like
Sure.
You're totally acting within the standard parameters of what you can do as a starship captain.
Just real quick, I want to check in with everybody. Do we feel like this satellite thing, like they absolutely need it? Or because my thinking was, if we all know this about how Starfleet operates, if there was a way that I could ask the president to ask us, just so that we could have that clearance to go. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I would have schmoozed President Yano to be like, we've got a plan, but you need to ask us to do it before we could,
Bureaucracy.
like, yeah, that's what I would have done. So do we want to do that, or we?
Because if we go back, we don't know. Like,
my first
the Admiral might just be like, "No, don't go back to that. We need you to go do this now." Yeah.
First choice, evacuate it so no one gets hurt in the worst case and you don't need the tachyon grid. You avoid the potential provocation at all. Barring that,
evacuate the planet.
No, the Trillium section.
Oh,
there.
Places
like
where there's
figure
Trillium.
out sort of what the situation is. They might request the designs. It also isn't something that they may feel they want to have immediately. Yeah, let them decide.
Okay.
Okay.
So Sally's heading back to Starbase then?
Yes.
Okay.
Did they need help with their blackout at all before I leave?
No, what you discover, and I'll tell you what, we'll piggyback that answer off that roll that I gave you earlier. They have, again, a race that's technologically clever, had tons of backup power ready for their city. But their main source of power has completely gone quiet down there.
Yeah.
And of course, because of the disruption in the crust of the planet, with the magma boiling up to the top and rendering that hydrothermal, essentially a crack in the crust that they were using to power, that is probably not going to be usable for the next few thousand years. So they're going to have to find another main source of power for that city. But again, Streetians seem to be pretty clever. So, but yeah, they're good to go for now. Okay.
Let's go.
I'm guessing we stand down from red alert. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're like
condition
at
green.
Yellow alert.
So yellow alert. You're going to stay at yellow alert?
I mean, yeah. It was an invisible Romulan. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're at yellow alert.
There we go.
Except for this is not yellow.
There.
They told me this would be there.
That's red.
That's red. That's scary.
Orange.
That's red.
That was orange, huh?
Oh, we got the whole.
Yeah, rainbow. There's yellow.
Rainbow alert.
All right, so Sally Ride, you plotting a course back to Narendra Station.
Already done.
I need you to make a roll. You were getting an assist from Lieutenant Dorothy Baker.
Oh yes, because of all the anomalies.
She's using her
control con.
Considerable pathfinding skills. Yeah.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 3.
Ah, yeah.
And I need Sally Ride to burn 2 power.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're having trouble. We need. Oh yeah. Before can we just decide this as both the helm and the engineer?
Yeah. What's up?
When we get back to the starbase, can we at least get our warp core looked at a little bit?
Oh no,
before we go back out.
Yes.
Crack, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
When you set into Narendra Station, the way I kind of figure it from a narrative standpoint is when you discovered that the warp drive needed, because that's when Shiv was bringing it up, doing his standard maintenance. He discovered that the warp drive needs time, but there wasn't enough time to start that project while you were on dock. Okay. So go ahead and make your roll. Difficulty is 3. And
as we're on,
Dorothy is helping.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That one may or may not count.
Yeah, it doesn't.
How'd Sally do?
That was not a roll for Sally. That was a roll for the warp core.
Oh.
We have an advanced warp drive.
That's right. You're trying to get the momentum back because you spent momentum.
I'm Sally.
You're Sally. Okay, so go ahead and make a roll. Again, the difficulty is 3.
What is the? What am I rolling for Sally?
For Sally, you are going to be rolling. Let's see. Plot of warp core. Let's actually on this one, we're going to say structure engineering.
Nope.
Okay. I got 3.
Okay, so 4 successes total.
Cool. So 1 momentum.
And burn 2 power.
Also, is this a new scene? Did we lose a momentum?
Yeah, that's true. So we'll just equalize it.
Yep.
So Sally's nacelles jump into warp. At warp 7, it will take 6 days, 16 hours, 14 minutes, just like last time, as you head out of the system. Just a real quick recap. Sam and I discussed this. Trek is kind of ambiguous on whether or not you can or cannot warp in and out of a system. My ruling is, based off a lot of the newer material that's coming in, is that technology is advanced enough to the point where sensors and navigations are able to compensate for all the gravitational fields of the planets and the star itself in the solar system. It is Federation standard to come out of warp when you're entering a system, particularly when it's one you haven't been in before and it's newly charted. But I just increased the difficulty for navigational purposes. And Sally, this is what you're born to do. She's basically a giant flying sextant that can go really fast.
Hello.
So she warps out. So
Okay.
What we'll do is this. Why don't we, because we're at a good stopping point and break is in 5 minutes, so why don't we just go ahead and launch our break now?
Okay.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll start on Narendra Station. It'll be 6 days later. Yeah, what's that?
I'll talk to you about it on break.
Got it.
There's a short scene request that I have.
Sure.
What for maybe when we come back.
In transit back to Narendra Station? Okay, yeah, we can do that. And anybody else wants to have a quick scene before we hit back to Narendra Station, which whereas a bulk of our game is going to take place today, because there's a lot of stuff waiting for you guys back at Narendra.
Oh, great.
Great.
Okay.
So, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We are back from our break, ready to continue our adventure tonight on Shield of Tomorrow. First of all, a big thank you to all the Ox crew that were tweeting at me, going, "We have geologists!" Everyone pointing out that Dorothy's a geologist and everything. Maybe it's up to y'all. If y'all want to, when you return to Strethia, if you want to assign some of the crew members to stay there, as Strethia is getting their own geologists to come on board, I'll leave that to you guys. We are currently in transit back to Starbase 364 Narendra Station. In that time, that 6-day travel time, I believe somebody wanted to have a scene.
Yes. I don't need long, but
What is Throlo up to?
Throlo sends a message to ask Tolash to meet her at a holosuite.
Okay.
If
Are you doing this? Are you doing this like during the day?
Sure.
Just like during your. Are you on shift right now? Is what I'm asking.
No, not while I'm on duty.
Okay. So what you discover is, we'll just say it's closer to the evening time, as the next shift is coming on, and what you find out when you ask the computer for his location so you can message him, you find that he's in holodeck. He's on the holodeck right now.
Okay, I will wait until a time when he is not already in the holodeck.
Okay, so you're just gonna wait for his program to
5
end?
days later.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a line, because, like, that's my evenings.
We're all going to be fighting
I've
for
thought
it.
about how gummed up the holodecks must get if you just, like, don't have more than 2.
So we could say that you're arriving maybe at the entrance of the holodeck while his program is ending, if you'd like. Because if you'd like to have a scene with him, otherwise, because Rue's going to be showing up at about the same time that he's leaving.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So then we'll do this. We'll say that as shift has come to an end and people are going back to their quarters and taking the burdens of duty off their shoulders for the day, and some picking up just a new set of burdens to put on their shoulders for the day, Rue, you're headed to the holodeck, and you've gotten kind of used to seeing Tolash exit the holodeck at about this time, and each time he relinquishes the holodeck to you, even if you arrive early, he'll stop his program and hand it over to you. For a Klingon who likes to throw his weight around, he seems to be showing a remarkable amount of deference to your rank as commander of the ship. Interestingly enough, though, tonight, as you're approaching the doors to the holodeck, you see Shishiros rounding the corner of the corridor and approaching the doors of the holodeck as well. And you see, of course, on the wall is the symbol that the holodeck, the computer's lit up, that it's in use.
Doctor, going to be doing an exercise program?
Oh, was I supposed to update you on whether I was doing the exercise program? Oh, I'm definitely going to get around to it very soon.
I'm sure you'll do it right around the time I get my annual checkup.
Well played, Commander. I was hoping to catch our friend Tolash for a word.
Well, I'm next in, so if you want me to boot him out of the holodeck. I ring the door chime.
The door slides open and you see a jungle in front of you, poorly lit, with vaporous clouds of moisture floating through large vines and thick leaves. They're dangling from a canopy. This does not look like Earth at all. Rue, because I know Rue, you would probably know what he's been up to in the holodeck. This is Konos, one of the jungles on Konos. And the Klingon homeworld has some pretty intense hunting in their jungles. And the moment you step into the holodeck, the temperature change, the variation. Immediately, you're stepping into what would be charitably described as a hyperactive sauna of moisture and heat. Just hits Shasiros like a wall. Your Andorian skin immediately not a fan, as you're used to more Arctic environments. This is the polar opposite. And what you're aware of Klingons is this is the environment they're used to. And Klingons thrive in dark environments and hot environments. You immediately make your way into the jungle. And
I go to push my sleeves up, notice my commander, and then just roll them right back down.
I'll say this: when y'all step inside and the door closes and it vanishes, you notice Rue assume a stance that Rue only assumes when Rue is expecting someone to jump out of nowhere and try to kill them. And you just hear the sounds of the jungle. Various animals that are native to the Klingon homeworld.
Is Puppy Tark there?
You're not hearing any Tark, but you do. Let's do this. I'll have everybody make a. Let's make a.
Holly better not be in there. You better not be using Holly for hunting.
Let's make a reason security check.
Oh my gosh, is he using Holly for hunting?
I actually genuinely need cautious for this, you guys. I'm really.
Wait, everyone? Just them two?
Just those two.
Yeah, so.
Make a reason security check. The difficulty is 1.
Any combat-related focuses that I have here?
Possibly. What focuses do you have?
I have all combat-related focuses.
You're like, open the book and point at one, Eric. I have it. Okay, then yes, we'll say.
Okay, in that case, 5.
Okay. How about you, Thorlo?
Is this a detecting danger kind of roll?
It's kind of like a perception check. Think of it like that.
Well, I got 2 successes, so I'm
okay.
So we maxed out
so
on
you distinctively hear what you think is the distant sound of shouting. Rue, you on the other hand, your ears trained for this kind of stuff are actually translating the sounds you hear in the distance are actually the sounds of what could only be a pitched melee fight. And that sound of shouting is actually the scraping of metal off of more metal.
With that check, since it's metal on metal, is there anything I could infer about the opponent? I could spend some of my bonus momentum from FAFSAT to obtain information on it?
Yes, you can do that.
So I do that.
Okay. Your instinct tells you that whatever is happening with regards to the metal on metal, I guess the best way to describe it would be it would be like if 2 blacksmiths were swinging a hammer at each other and the hammers were striking in perfect synchronicity. So 2 very powerful opponents clashing is what you get.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily sound overtly like Batleth's song.
That's you can't really discern that.
Well, you know the best way to discern it.
Yeah. So Rue charges off.
I look up.
I attempt to keep up.
This is a combat scenario, and he might have safeties off. Be mindful.
Probably does.
Oh man.
So,
Holly better not
if you
be
wanted to stay back, I wouldn't blame you.
Okay, as y'all are approaching,
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna need you guys to make one more of those perception checks for me. I'm spending 2 threat. The difficulty here is going to. Difficulty here is gonna be 4.
I'm definitely spending for cautious.
Take one of those.
You do.
Look up what that bonus I took did. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, that's okay.
Always write down. Don't just write bonus to detect danger. Write down what that means.
Hey, there's a look. Star Trek Adventures. I love this game. There's a lot of information to keep track of in this game. So if you gotta look it up,
is what it says on the tin. If you took that,
I took constantly
broad
watching.
talent. Yeah. Detect danger.
What form does that bonus take? Because that's what I
I'll
didn't
look.
write
Yeah.
down.
I will totally.
I'm really sorry.
I'll look
okay.
while you roll.
I think it might have been bonus D20.
Get it? Looking. Oh.
Tell me, yeah, go ahead and look it up.
I printed everything else I have.
You've done good. Don't worry. You've done good.
You've
No
done
one's
good,
judging.
Doc. You're done good.
You're doing good, Shishiros.
Done good.
I got you.
4, by the way.
4
When you
successes.
attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1. So
there
for
we go.
Shishiros,
Down
it'll
to
be 3
3.
difficulty. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
And we just took a momentum for you, so you can have
me?
3 dice. I mean, I did. As soon as he said difficulty 4, I went,
And I took one for cautious.
And you took
as
one
well.
for cautious, so we're down to
Yes.
4 momentum.
If it is a security check, I take cautious.
Great.
Okay.
It is definitely a security check.
Yep.
All right.
Unfortunately,
so,
I don't get a reroll on this.
let's not break
So
Laura
I
Bailey's
got-
dice tray.
2 successes
All right. Her old dice tray. I would never use her.
on a
complication?
difficulty 3
Killed.
and 1 complication.
You got a complication?
Oh, no. Gina, did you accidentally touch that?
I
Vince,
swear I
bounce off of your hand. It bounce off of your hand.
I'm burning that
looked
complication
at it.
right now. So
course
Rue, you detect it, but it's going to be on Throlo's side, so you're not going to be able to stop it when it happens. You see it just as it's happening, and for a split second, Rue, you don't fully understand what it is you're looking at, but the jungle comes to life for a second and seems to move in front of you. For those of us who have seen the movie Predator, think of it like that.
Yep.
There is a distortion that suddenly shifts next to Throlo as she is kind of looking around, keeping up with you. Throlo, with that roll, you feel the danger, but it comes at you, and
You get stabbed.
I'm going to make a quick roll here.
Oh no!
Captain!
Don't hurt the doctor. She's in the freaking holodeck.
We've got future technology,
just a-
medicine. It's fine.
This was supposed to be just a nice little scene of love. Look
oh my
what Eric has done.
Turn.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if it were just me, it would be fun.
Okay.
But like, our poor little healer is here, and now there's danger.
Oh, man.
None of us know how to do the medicine.
Keep the safeties on.
Why is it so hot
Yeah,
in here?
that's the lesson. Keep the dang safeties on, Klingons.
Oh no! Quick, heal yourself.
Throlo.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, turning to the pages about avoiding injury.
A species that you have seen in pictures but have never confronted in real life appears in front of you out of nowhere.
A Gorn.
It has sort of a deep purple pigmentation to a scaled visage, with teeth lining its jaws, teeth lining its upper area where you see a very rigid skeletal structure. This thing stands almost as tall as Tolosh himself. It is built like it was bred or perhaps genetically engineered for battle. It has this strange tube mechanism coming out the back of its head. You only get a brief glimpse of it as it strikes you.
Based on my roll, I'm going to assume that I spend that moment going, wow!
You take 5 damage from an unarmed strike as this thing crashes down on top of you, striking you with the butt of its rifle. Right across the jaw. It's
Okay.
enough for an injury.
5
And-
stress of non-lethal type.
It's non-lethal. It is going to be enough to knock you out if you don't burn momentum to stay active. It's an injury, essentially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the moment that rifle butt strikes you across the face, Throlo, you know immediately there are no safety protocols active currently on the holodeck. As you're pretty sure your jaw was just fractured from that strike.
Come on.
Can we burn?
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the doctor's call.
Yeah.
Throlo
Doctor?
gets dropped. You watch this Jem'Hadar warrior appear out of nowhere and stock strike her across the face, knocking her flat to the ground. And
How many?
How much do we have to burn to keep
to
awake?
keep her
it's 2.
conscious?
2.
2 momentum to keep conscious. Rue, the way the warrior strikes and then turns on you, instinctively you know, just from looking at this thing, by the way it handles itself and the way it immediately treats you as a threat, it's predatorial, it's not stupid, and it's gauging you the moment it's finished. It obviously picked the weakest looking member of the pack to strike first and got rid of, and now it's focused on you.
It has surprisingly good judgment, but honestly, as soon as I found out that Tolosh was fighting some of these, I wanted to fight some of these, so this is not even the first time I've seen it.
I'm spending 2 threat to keep my initiative, and it's going to attack you.
Oh my god. Okay.
And I'm going to spend another point of threat to gain a die to attack you with it.
All right. This is a melee check.
Mm-hmm. Melee.
All right. I'm spending 1 for cautious.
Let's do it.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
Can we just turn it off? Like, computer, off?
Yeah, turn on safety
security.
programs.
Yeah.
Turn on safety standards.
I mean, the commander has that kind of security protocol.
2. Yeah.
2. Ty goes to the defender, if I'm not mistaken.
Ty goes to active.
Goes to the attack. Okay, then he strikes you.
Yeah.
This Jem'Hadar gets through your defenses. You raise that crutch, and it actually instinctively, as the stock is coming down, as this butt of the rifle hits, you realize in that particular moment, this Jem'Hadar warrior was anticipating that block, because as the rifle's coming down, he lets go and it strikes, flipping harmlessly off the edge of your crutch, and a fist impacts hard on your ribs. The whole thing was a feint just to get you to raise to block that strike. Now we're gonna do some damage.
Oh, dear
It's
Lord.
okay. It costs me less to avoid injury.
It's still.
3 damage, non-lethal.
You guys are hurting yourselves playing video games.
Bam! Didn't get the angle he needed to really do some damage, but the strike to your ribs, you felt that one rumble through your body. It is now your initiative.
Yes, it is.
Unless you want it to be throw low.
I mean, I have quick to action, and this is the first round of combat.
Yep, first round of combat, so go
that
ahead.
will happen.
Okay.
Like, we
What are you doing?
you get out of here.
Tell me what's
Either
up.
way. I hit him.
All right. Gimme it. Gimme.
I spend
Didn't expect this.
1 more for cautious.
I'm gonna point
We
a
are
threat
out
to
of
get an extra
momentum.
die.
Momentum. Oh.
We are out of momentum.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
There's so many phases.
We'll see how that
There's
goes.
so many
You got
things.
cautious
I can't read the faces. I can't read. I'm not a Benezoid. I can't. What's happening?
It doesn't help being one.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
They are not books.
What'd you get?
3.
3. You beat him.
Savagely.
Okay. So roll your damage.
All right.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Have you met my crutches?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me just clear all of
everywhere.
this out. Why do you think I carry so many d6? It's not for my health. It's certainly not for his.
Oh, that's very good.
I see lots of numbers.
It's pretty okay. I'm not super angry.
I see some 5s, some 6s, some 2s,
Okay,
some 1s. Okay, we're gonna do that math. We're doing the math right now.
Do the math.
Do the math. Do the medicine. Do the science.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the science.
10 and a knockdown.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Do the medicine.
Spin 3 threat.
Beat my crutches.
Do the flying.
Each effect I get vicious, which adds an extra damage.
Okay.
Okay.
10 and a knockdown. Rue, you slam that crutch into the lower half of his body. This would be enough to pulverize some of your previous opponents. He takes that to the chest and goes stumbling back and does indeed get the knockdown and begins to get right back up.
All right.
You feel the crutch when it impacts against this Jem'Hadar's chest. You feel you're striking armor. It was something was able to blunt that blow just a little bit.
Right, he gets resistance.
Yeah. So,
All right.
what are you doing?
Before we pass the round on to my good doctor, I'm going to protect her.
Okay, so you interpose yourself between the doctor.
By which I very specifically mean I'm going to protect my ship and its crew.
You're
Go
gonna
for
call on your
another
value.
round of beating him.
Okay. So what are you doing specifically with? Now you're calling upon that value, so you're going to get your determination.
For one additional task at no increased difficulty.
Okay. So what are you doing? Specifically, you going to beat him again?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm hitting
roll
real hard.
Roll it.
I use a minor action to aim.
Okay.
And
I'm going to spend 2 to raise the difficulty to hit him by 1. So it'll just be a difficulty 2 roll now.
all right.
Which isn't going to stop you, but it might limit your successes. And yeah.
Let's see. And I can't burn for cautious because we're out of. How many did I beat him by last round in the hit? Oh, ties.
Thank you.
it tied.
Okay.
Is that good or bad?
Martinez is on the bridge and suddenly feels.
Yeah. What is happening?
What'd you get? 3 successes?
That's a momentum. Right?
Only if it's net successful.
That'll hit.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep, you strike him. You got him.
So that's not a momentum.
So roll damage.
I don't know. It could be. Did I
we get
tie him or
momentum?
did I beat him?
No,
Difficulty
you beat
was
him.
2.
You beat him by 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll that.
Back in the game. Hector's face has been my favorite thing.
Hector has the vapors and it's the best.
To declare,
Hector's got the vapors.
it's a powerful hot, powerful heat.
I like a powerful hot better.
That's a powerful hot. Out here in Georgia, it's a powerful.
12. Okay.
Jesus.
He starts to get back up and goes to raise it, but the strike of your crutch across the side of his face completely knocks him unconscious.
Yeah,
He
dude.
starts to get up, and he just falls back down and lays still in the jungle.
I keep the initiative to tell Throlo, get back out of here until I find Tolash. If you can get to the panel, engage the safeties.
Doing that.
From
Yep.
now.
You're fractured.
Don't forget, Throlo, this is a holodeck. At any particular moment, you can say computer in program or computer re-engage safety protocols or whatever you want.
If you want to say computer engage safety protocols, that's cool.
Or just end
Don't
program.
feel compelled to end the program.
I'm just saying, you were part of the command staff of the ship. You have total control over this holodeck.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, let's just end it. Yeah.
Good, dude.
Your face
Safety protocols.
hurts.
That's also why I'm telling you.
Computer engage safety protocols.
Safety protocols engaged. And in the distance, you're almost certain you hear a Klingon going, "Rah!"
Sorry, Commander. Thank you, Commander.
Physician, heal thyself. I'll send Tolash to sick bay when you're done. Well, when we're done.
Okay, moments later, the jungle sounds come to a stop. Everything freezes. And then the jungle disappears, and for a split second, you find yourself standing about 10 feet away from Tolash. And before the bodies disappear, you see 3 Jem'Hadar warriors in various states of dismemberment at his feet. He has a blade that's currently lodged in his shoulder where blood is pouring down. And a Jem'Hadar is currently gripping him by the neck. It's also frozen. And then all of them just vanish. He was fighting about 6 opponents and probably losing. But as the blade disappears, the wound is very much still there. And he just... Which one of you disengaged the safety?
Under my command.
Doctor, I need medical attention.
Maybe you come with me.
Commander? Gives you a big toothy grin as he walks past you.
Real bloody, right?
Oh,
like-
there's blood in his teeth.
He's like leaving a trail through
He
the
looks
whole
like hell.
ship.
He may have taken down 3 Jem'Hadar, but let's just say in his world, in his game, he burned all his momentum to keep going. So Tolash is dragging his body out of the holotech right now.
I wait until they leave.
Okay.
Computer resume program.
The jungle comes back up, and the Jem'Hadar reappear in the exact same position, and when the computer re-engages, the Jem'Hadar looks at it and goes, and looks at you. You grin at it, and he lowers his hands and just says, "Victory is life." And he pulls another blade out of his belt. We will cut to you guys.
That's awesome.
I do not want to play in that program.
Terrifying fact about Jem'Hadar, and I'm just going to tell you right now, in their special rules, they are immune to fear, they are immune to pain. As Rue is about to
Bullshit. You just gotta be like, I'm gonna take away your drugs, and then they get real scared.
That's
Oh
what
no,
it
no,
is.
don't take all their drugs.
Drug addicts. That's why.
Those
feel no
stinking
pain.
drug
They're on
addicts.
drugs.
Take away their
Not
cocaine.
sick bay, so Rue is also immune to fear.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you're walking with Tolash back down to sickbay. Commander, you're going to need some. Just talking. You're pretty sure you may have cracked at least 3 of your teeth. Judging from the feel, you're familiar with these injuries, and you're feeling it like. Okay, you're definitely going to need to get some painkillers and some regeneration going on here. Tolosh, however, bleeding on the floor of the Sally Ride as he walks. As a Klingon, it looks like his efforts are going into walking like he's fine. You know he's not. You guys reach the turbo lift, steps inside, and he just turns to you and wipes blood off of his mouth and says, "What did you want to speak to me about, Doctor?"
I'm a little, what is the word? Discombobulated. Ran into one of your...
I do not know this word.
Like smashed pottery.
Smashed pottery. You are smashed pottery.
Just a touch.
You must feel like smashed pottery.
You have some very impressive friends.
I've admired the Andorian combat rituals for a long time. You come from a warrior race. There was a long time where the Klingons respected Andoria more than any of the other Federation worlds.
I was coming to look for you because I thought I would surprise you. Kind of worked out the other way around. But I was gonna tell you that we have a program for the Yushan. Because when we were down there, you put aside what matters to you and did what was necessary for all of us. And now I owe a debt. And I can't repay it with surprise holodeck fights, but I wanted to say thank you. Ow.
You are welcome.
Now let's see about that shoulder.
Yes, it was a good hit. And he turns and pulls the wound open.
No.
You can see clear inside the musculature as he grins down at it and goes, "Argh!"
Weirdly, nothing gets me back on keel, like getting to shift focus to like, nope, we're not. So I'm reaching like over my head to close his shoulder back up and be like, none of that.
No. That actually goes this way, not that way. So we're just gonna.
Easy mistake. And this is why you tell the DM that your secret plan was to surprise people in the holodeck and don't just try to implement it as you go. Sorry.
I had fun! You know how long it's been since I hit things with my crutches?
Too long.
Tolosh does seem grateful, though. He, in a way a Klingon can. His mood seems to change a little bit, from irritation of having to leave the holodeck when he did to gratitude. Rue, we'll summarize that of all of the holodeck programs you have participated in, this one gives you a serious run for your money. If the Klingons are right by how they're simulating combat with the Jem'Hadar, when you leave the holodeck 30 minutes later, you have concerns.
If I gassed out after 30 minutes, I have serious concern.
Well, yes, because straight up, the heat of the Klingon jungle and constantly fighting for your life against Jem'Hadar warriors that are zealots to the death, it is the most intense. It hands down does not compare to any of the training programs you've fought. You've managed to fight your way through it. I could see Rue surviving.
I don't think
one of those.
Tolosh actually uses the environment to his advantage when fighting shrouded combatants. I think that's part of why he gets ganged up in a clearing by 6 of them.
No. Yeah, you're not sure what the story is there. But I mean, of course, you have full access to the replay, but I'm going to give you a little tidbit of information too, Rue. You are only ever allowed to disengage safety protocols if you have command override.
Ooh. Oh.
That's something that would easily occur to Rue.
What it now?
Stepping out of the holodeck.
Oh, snap.
You have to enter a command code to disengage safety protocols.
Wasn't Lurk.
So, as you come
I
out,
don't think it was anyway.
just your muscles are sore. You have been bruised and beaten. Even with the safety protocol still on, that was bracing to say the least. those Jem'Hadar gave you one of the best fights you've ever had. So, but that is lingering in the back of Rue's mind.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and accelerate to arrival at Narendra Station unless anybody has anything else. So a few days later, the Sally Ride comes out of warp, and you see on view screen Narendra Station just as you left her. Also, just to clarify too, because this was specified, but I needed to clarify a little bit, there is a Klingon bird of prey docked at Narendra Station. There's only one. But that is the Klingon presence currently. There are 2 other starships currently in operation in the Expanse.
An Excelsior and a Nebula?
Yes, I'm tapping a bit into the living campaign that Modiphius is using right now. They have a few starships that are canonized into their living campaign. That I replaced the Galaxy class with the USS Dauntless, which has been called away. But yes, I believe it's the Thunderchild and the Bellafron now. I've already used the Thunderchild, so I'm having to rename that one as well, that Akira class. But the Bellafron is going to be stationed here as well. No, I'm sorry. You guys are taking the place of the Bellafron. So I've essentially completely relabeled all of the currently in operation starships here. But yes, the Excelsior class left the Expanse. It was part of the ships that were evacuating the station when you all arrived, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
When the Federation was withdrawing their non-essential personnel. Sally docks, pulling in. You guys basically go hands-free on the docking procedures as a tractor beam, and then the station kind of guides you in. Yeah, this is probably Sage's least favorite part. And
I'm like, oh, come on. I could have done this like so much faster.
Maneuvering thrusters. Docking complete. And then you hear confirmation from Narendra Station. Welcome home, Sally Ride.
Okay, does everybody have their itinerary, their orders? What's the procedure?
Right now, standard, no one disembarks unless they have permission from the captain. There's no need to disembark right now. You need to be debriefed by the Admiral.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and just speeding along to cutscenes like we would an episode of Star Trek. We will cut to the scene of Rue and Martinez stepping into the Admiral's quarters on
We're
Proper
losing
Station.
momentum?
Yep, you lose that momentum.
Oh, goodbye, little momentum.
It's okay, maybe I'll get to hit more things.
I'm going to say, you spent them wisely, though.
Yeah, I would say so.
That Jem'Hadar really wanted to finish off the Andorian and the Trill.
That's really nice for it. Rue's actually still smiling.
That might actually be the first time I got a good smack on you.
It is. It's the first time that one hit in track camp.
Oh, that's true. You got a trick in. Yeah. Is it the bar fight with the Klingons? I don't think it was. I don't think they got a hit on you.
Oh, and
it took a bunch of sessions, and I think you had to really jack the difficulty way up before
they got a hit on me.
Well, I just didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know how to use threat yet.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to use it now.
I body slammed
Thank
one,
you,
remember?
Nathan Dowdle.
Even though no one believes Lark Sage.
All right.
Of course you did, sweetie.
Entering into the Admiral's office, you step through the pair of double doors with the Starfleet insignia, or the UFP insignia on the doors. Stepping into her quarters, you find her staring at a data pad, and she's just waving you all in as she's coming in. Her uniform is very casually unzipped. It looks like that it's kind of becoming like off-duty hours. She's got a cup of coffee in her hand. She sets it down and she says, "Come in, I want to hear all about it. Please come in."
I'll take a seat, sure.
Stand.
Is it just these two?
I think it's just
it's just the two of you. So, but we're gonna have scenes with all of y'all. So go ahead and make real quick. I want y'all to make a insight command check. Difficulty is 1.
Still.
2 successes.
That's 1.
Okay.
Momentum back.
Get a momentum back. Let me just roll for her real quick. Okay. Well, at least my Federation NPCs are doing well in rolls tonight.
Great.
Rue, she just looks like she's doing her Admiral thing, but I would say, Martinez, you're aware that the Admiral looks agitated as you're entering in. She drops the data pad unceremoniously on the coffee table that's before her main desk, and she slides into the chair, and she says, "Romulans. You encountered a Romulan warbird?
Yeah.
It was the Magdrius, is that correct?"
Yes.
Okay. This is very valuable information.
Yeah, not only that, but is this room secured? Then just the Romulan, yeah, that's it.
She looks at you sympathetically. And she says, "Well, I'll have a more thorough debriefing when the General arrives. He is now to attend all debriefings."
I understand. Well, then I'll cut to the chase, Admiral. We feel that the Streethians are in danger, and we wanted to set up a precautionary tachyon sensor in their orbit, which they have agreed to use their satellite technology and work with Starfleet in any way that they can, just to give us a heads up if there's any other Romulan activity, which is the best we can do. That's the best we can leave them with.
Well, we'll see about that, Captain.
It'll be difficult. We might need some personnel, and I understand that resources are spread thin, but
Very
Streethians
thin.
are in danger.
I don't want to abandon our charter as Starfleet, but I also have to make you aware that I received this. And she holds up a data pad and says, "From your chief engineer, Commander Jiv, Lieutenant Commander Jiv." It says here that the Sally Ride's warp core needs to be overhauled immediately
That's
for
true.
maintenance.
That's why we're here.
Well, let's make that our priority, and then we can visit how many resources. The door opens, and here comes the General.
Here comes the General!
I'll stand up from my chair.
Okay, the Admiral also slowly stands up and says, "You started the briefing without me." "No, General, they've only just arrived."
It was just nice cities, General. That's all.
General comes to a stop, decorated as a general would be, with the bandolier, with all the symbols of his office and a jacket on. Again, the General kind of glances over at the two of you. He gives you both a look of... Kargan...
That's his name.
He is just your typical jackass Klingon general. And when I say jackass, I mean he is all bluster. When he walks in the room, he immediately sizes you both up with a measure of disgust. And just kind of looks, "Rue, I won't even have you roll for it."
Yep.
He lingers on you for a second.
Rue was waiting for that,
He
too.
lingers on your crutches for a second. And then he just kind of... "So, I understand you found Romulans. How are you still alive?"
I'm good at my job, General.
"Good at your job."
Yes.
"Starfleet is quite good at running." He turns and angles that directly at the Admiral.
Well, in this case, I talked good. We didn't run. We were able to come to a mutual agreement. They had some missing personnel, and I went ahead and returned them.
"Thank you. This is all very interesting." He turns and looks at the Admiral and says, "Do you have a report for me, Admiral?" And she reaches down and picks up what you assume is a summary of your current mission, and hands it to him and says...
Which, as far as we know, doesn't have any trillium in that at all.
You have no idea what she's handing him.
Well,
Okay,
whatever
but
we submitted.
whatever we submitted, no mention of trillium.
Okay. She hands him... I tell you what, spin opponent momentum. Did you make it clear that that was the case? I don't think you did.
After Talash said about...
Oh, that's right, Talash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was only like an hour and a half ago. All right.
Hashtag ship of secrets.
Hold on, more coffee. All right.
Our Lady of Perpetual Secrets.
Yep.
All right. Takes the report and looks at it and says, "This'll do." And turns on the heel and stomps out of the room. And the door closes.
Such a peach.
So, Admiral, have you practiced the regular Klingon greeting yet with the General?
The regular Klingon greeting, Captain?
Yeah, the sort of the foreheading.
No, Captain, I have not.
All right.
She grins a little bit and settles back down into her seat, and she says, "Well, I can't give you an official debriefing here, but might I suggest hosting the flag of the Admiralty on board the Sally Ride, perhaps later this evening, for dinner?
Perfect.
I look forward to meeting your command staff."
Great.
Dismissed. Thank you, Captain.
Thank
Welcome
you,
home.
Admiral Herbert. Thank you. Good to be back.
Hebert.
Hebert? It's Hebert? Yeah, why did I write it R?
Because I
for
told
a
you it was
while,
Herbert.
yeah.
The GM screwed up.
Hebert.
You would never do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, April.
Yeah.
Thank you, Admiral.
As we leave the briefing room, I do catch the captain. Did you give Commander Tolash command privileges on Sally?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Why?
I suppose we keep that in mind for our debriefing, sir.
What happened?
He has command privileges on Sally.
How do you know this? What did he do?
He's been having some combat without the safety protocols. He's a naughty boy.
Son of a Targ. Okay. All right. Thank you, Commander, for letting me know.
I suppose he's rubbing off on me.
Have you looked into that? Is that all that he's done with his command privileges, as far as you know?
Before the Admiral comes aboard ship, why don't I do a thorough search through the computers and see if there are any irregularities?
Because I'd rather him be confined to that video game than running somewhere else around the ship, but that's fine. Okay.
All right.
Make sure that it's thorough, Commander. Very thorough. Very thorough. Okay?
I'm good.
All right, so we are at a rare moment of downtime until the evening for the USS Sally Ride. You guys have about 6 hours before you receive notification that you're going to be having dinner with the Admiral tonight on board the Sally Ride. It's a little unusual. Normally you would be hosted by the Admiral.
We're going to be wearing our fancies.
It's a little unusual.
The dress.
I've never worn my fancies.
Oh, yeah. We're busting it out.
not since grad day, huh?
Oh, we're busting it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Check out
I
the dress
wonder if it
uniforms.
still fits. Have I gained weight?
Yeah, we should start with
Yeah, have I got more?
Do I look good?
terminology, too, is it's fancy.
Yeah. Actually, I should address that too. For everybody who's been asking why I wear the DS9 uniform and you guys are wearing the Voyager uniform, it's because this game actually takes place in the era where that uniform transition is taking place, and the Admiralty still wears the DS9 uniform.
It's awesome.
If anyone's
Ding.
wondering
I love that uniform.
why my costume is not complete, it's because I have to be a bard as soon as
I was
I'm done
gonna
with
say,
this. So.
Bonnie is currently wearing a bodice and a fluffy bardic shirt underneath.
I'm a bard in Starfleet. Don't tell.
Are you the stowaway?
I don't know if I hold my bards in space.
So we're gonna have a moment here of downtime where I'm going to ask you guys what your characters would be up to at this particular moment.
Excellent question.
You now have some downtime on Narendra Station. Now there is protocol right now. Narendra Station, Federation personnel are ordered to stay on the promenade decks and above. Everything below essentially is Klingon territory. You are allowed down there specifically for duty purposes, but if you're off duty, you're not going to have as much. You're going to have a bad time if you go down below decks, so to speak. So
Wait, I'm sorry. Are we on the station or on the ship?
you're on the station.
Okay.
This is Narendra Station.
Oh.
60% of the personnel is Klingon, including the chief engineer of the station and the chief medical officer of the station, Klingons. So a lot of these points, there is a neutral station. It is the Klingon Federation Embassy, which has become sort of a neutral territory, and that's actually right up on the promenade. There's also, of course, Bruggs. Bruggs is the name of the antiquities store located on the promenade, run by a Ferengi named Brugg.
Antiquity store.
I want to go to Bronx.
That is the only civilian-run place of commerce currently on Narendra Station. There have been some places opened up on the promenade. None of them apparently were able to get up off the ground before all hell broke loose and a Klingon war broke out with the Federation. So right now, there is one merchant for the entire station.
Of course, that's right, Ferengi.
And the ship is yours. The station is yours. What would you like to do?
In the morning, I have just completed a 3-hour constitutional walk around the station promenade in a meditative state. So I've just been passing people like 25, 30 times in this meditative state on my walk.
What are your hands doing?
laps.
What are your hands doing?
I'm literally just walking.
Just hands down? It's not
It's
one of
a
these
walking
things?
meditation.
Okay.
No,
I'm going to say that about towards the end of your laps, you're so focused in your meditations that it takes you a moment to realize that one of the pieces of scenery it should be a variable piece of scenery considering its personnel, but you've noticed you've seen it every single time you've done a lap.
For like 3 hours.
You become aware that doing the exact same exercise, but not necessarily a meditative state, probably more out of either anxiety or lost in thought, is Lieutenant Dorothy Baker, who is pacing around the station with a data pad in front of her, and she's just been typing on it, and occasionally bumping into the irritated Klingon who waves her off and keeps walking. But you do spot her as she's making her rounds as well. And occasionally, y'all will pass each other, and you're becoming aware that on occasion she's looked up and then realized, nope, okay. And then she'll go right back into reading.
And she's kind of going the opposite way?
Opposite direction.
Okay,
You've kind of passed her a couple of times now.
Okay.
She may not be following the same sort of orbit as you. You probably get the...
she might be like...
She's probably trying to navigate the crowds, but she is also getting her exercise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yes, as I finish up my meditation... I see her be bumped by a Klingon, you said?
Yeah, the Klingon just goes... and moves her out of the way as he continues to walk by. And she just goes, sorry. And continues walking and reading and breaking things.
Knocks over
everything. Yeah, thanks.
Does she adorably knock something over? Can that? Yes.
Sure.
Matthew, are you mad if we?
She adorably knocks something over.
Yay!
Sorry, and then bumps into a Federation officer who drops their data pad and goes. He reaches down and picks it up, and she's sorry. Space is big, and it takes up a lot of my eyesight, and keeps walking.
I turn and start walking next to her.
She literally goes,
I apologize if I startled you.
No, you didn't startle me.
Your bodily reaction and your facial expression looked like you were startled. I apologize.
No, I'm reading science stuff, and it's very exciting. I'm sorry, yes, you did startle me. I'm not, there's a lot of Klingons around here, and I'm still getting used to that.
Yes. There are a lot of Klingons here. It has been some time since I have spent this much time around Klingons. It is a new environment to meditate in. I have found it a very challenging meditation.
Yes, I agree. It's well, for me, it's I find it difficult to study if I'm not moving, and so sometimes I'll go to like the gym and do it there, but this may sound silly, but when I'm not on a starship, I don't know. I mean, I love starships, don't get me wrong, but having the station, it feels, this sounds weird, but it feels planet-side almost in a way, if that makes sense. I like to sort of pretend. It's a silly thing.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
They do have holodecks here as well, holosuites. But I decided to take my constitutional walk out here with the Klingons. As I said, it was challenging to remain focused, and I enjoyed that challenge.
Can I share my findings with you?
I was just about to ask that you did.
They're pretty amazing. We got a lot of information. Even traveling at warp, I was able to document at least 12 different occasions of gravimetric disturbances in the Shackleton Expanse alone. What I've discovered is that each time we part through the Shackleton Expanse, and she pulls out like 2 more data pads that you didn't know she had on her, and she's like, it's right here somewhere.
Can I like, maybe she like starts to drop one and I catch it for her.
Could you hold this? And she hands you one. She's like, one of these has some of my findings on it. It's not particularly dangerous. It's just that each time we go through the Expanse, oh, here it is, yeah. Until our sensors get upgraded, there's actually no correcting for the gravimetric disturbances. But I do have something to say that they don't appear randomly. It seems like they're almost fixed points, like buoys just left out in space. So once we map them, we should have an easier time. But with the enormity of the Expanse itself, it'll probably still be difficult to navigate, even when our sensors are updated.
Lieutenant.
Which is amazing.
You said buoys?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe they are artificially placed by some type of intelligent species?
No, I think they're naturally occurring. I meant, so think of them as, I think they're naturally occurring just like pockets of disturbances out in space, and just like a buoy would in the ocean, for example, they just kind of, do this out in the middle of out in the middle of space. It's like running into rough waters. It'll affect the warp core no matter what we do. Thankfully, nothing dangerous, but it will disrupt us if we have to. It could add to travel times. It'll keep disrupting subspace, but I'm working on a solution to that. And I think I have a way around it. I mean, since they are stationary, what we can do is actually create subspace relays that simply navigate around it. It could add perhaps some time to subspace relays transmissions, but to be honest, that time would be so infinitesimal considering the processing speed of a subspace relay. You may not even notice. I would estimate something like a 0.00 to the 10th power lag, perhaps. It's possible Celluride sensors would detect it, but I don't think it would be a problem. It's certainly nothing to get anybody worked up about. And I could fix it too. I mean, it's easy. And I could work with Chief Ren on that, and we could fix that up really easily.
That needs
Absolutely.
decaf.
Yeah. There may be. Perhaps I will speak to the captain and see if we can order some sensor upgrades. Because, as you said, it seems that we are flying blind, as Lark Sage might say.
I have a suggestion too. We had been talking about doing this with the Streethians, and I was thinking, since we're installing tachyon pulse thingies on the satellites.
When she says that, I look around very quickly and I say,
"Oh my gosh!" So since we're installing those on the satellite, I was thinking subspace relays typically have these, but with some of the technology that we have on the Celluride, it'd be easy to duplicate something like a sensor ping. It might actually help us further map out the entirety of where we're traveling in the expanse, like leaving breadcrumbs so we can find our way back home. It would make it a little bit easier to travel through warp, where we go from A to B to C to D and so on.
yes, that is an excellent idea.
Thank you. I mean, I've got it all here. No, it's in one of those. And she reaches over and takes one out of your hand and says, "No, I'm sorry, it is on this one." It's right here. Yes, I have it here.
Too relatable.
I have it here.
You had, like,
There is a
7
collapsed
iPads.
pulsar 7 light years from here that I would love to get a look at.
A pulsar.
A collapsing pulsar.
Talon has a moment of excitement visible,
Oh my god, if only Martinez was here. And she says,
a collapsing pulsar.
I mean, usually pulsars sort of degrade. They don't necessarily collapse. At least not in the way this one
Yes,
does.
I know.
They of course form into black holes.
And you say
as
this
know-
one is collapsing.
Yes, it might be in a state of collapse. If that happens and it becomes a black hole in the next 2,000 to 3,000 years, we'll see a huge shift. in some
Talon
of the
finishes
gravity.
that sentence as this. Baker says it. We finish the sentence at the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
You two basically walk the promenade.
Spaceship it.
It's if you didn't know any better, it would be like you're starting to get the impression that Lieutenant Baker, being that her field is so specialized and unique, she doesn't get to talk to a lot of people about astral navigation. The expanse to Lieutenant Baker is what it must have been like mapping the New World for a cartographer. It must have been like, oh my God, here's a coastline, and the world isn't round, and the world's round. My God, and then and this, and then
They knew.
What's that?
Christopher Columbus was an idiot. Everybody else who was smart knew that the
Columbus
thing
was
was
more
round.
than an idiot. He was many.
Yeah.
He was a many a thing.
Yeah, he was.
They go much deeper than
Atomic model of the.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
And so you two move about the promenade carrying on. So remember this scene, Talon, as I'm sure you will, because what we'll do is if you want, in the future during the narrative, considering the information exchange you're having with Lieutenant Baker, I'll let you, if you want, spend momentum for an advantage in the future if it comes to navigation or piloting the Expanse. So I'll let you do that. So just you write this down. Think of it like I'm letting you bank a momentum for the future, much in the way that Mullerin did for her. Yeah. So
We don't need to spin it right now.
everything that you do.
Wait, do we have to spin it right now?
no. This is literally one I'll let you.
Is this for like
this,
later?
This is kind of a
Yes, that's
this
what
is a
happens.
house rule kind of thing. So I'm letting you basically bank a momentum for the future. If you're ever making a navigation roll or an astronavigation
Oh, I
check,
see.
yeah.
That I can spend in the future.
Yeah, I'll let you use it for astrophysics as well. Like any of your science things, anything that's going to contribute to Sally Ride's navigation of the stars, essentially, while you're in the Shackleton Expanse.
Lovely.
That'd be very helpful for my job too. So
Yeah.
do the thing,
Do the
spin the
thing.
thing, do the science.
All right,
Get that Baker bonus.
Yeah, Baker bonus.
Nice. Thank you, Baker.
Mala, where are you?
My space friend. Science friend.
Are we allowed on the ship still, or do we have to be in the station?
You can. Now that everyone's been debriefed, the crew's allowed to come and go as they please.
Then I would be sitting on the floor, hidden somewhere in the engine room, studying all the stuff from Strethia.
Okay.
Yeah.
The engine room is mostly empty
Yes.
right now. Knowing that the overhaul is incoming, a lot of the engineering crew Jiv has given some time off to because they're about to hit the ground running and busting their butts. Plus, you guys actually have not had any significant downtime since you arrived at Shackleton.
Yeah. I'm somewhere near where the bottle pieces are.
Okay. It's at about that point where you feel the presence of somebody standing over you. And you didn't realize they were there. And as you're kind of reading over this, you glance up and you see the face of Lynn Zadis looking back down at you. And he just goes, "Hey,
Hi.
I know I'm not technically Starfleet personnel anymore, so I don't know if I'm allowed in the engine room, but I knew I would find you here."
I mean, no, you can be here whenever you want. I mean, we're kind of docked off station, you know.
I wanted to ask you for advice.
Really?
Yeah. Engineering advice.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what?
I feel really good about my decision to leave Starfleet. I know some of the people on the ship are kind of sad about it, but I actually feel like that's exactly what I need to do for now. But the thing is I mean, I brought her out of space dock. You know, I was there when she basically first took flight, and I take one look at that warp core, and I mean, I know it, and I know that there's got to be an overhaul, and I just feel really bad doing my own thing when she needs me. So I figured, you know what, maybe this is a good way of sort of just like one last parting, you know?
You want to help?
Yeah, I want to help.
Yeah.
I don't have authorization, sticking my hands in a warp core, and I'm not Starfleet. It's kind of a thing. But if the captain's cool with it. But I wanted to talk to you first, because I know Jiv is the chief engineer, but I also know that she's your girl. So I just wanted to see if you thought that was a good idea.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Great. Then I guess I'll just go where you need me.
Actually, do you want to maybe help right now? I know it's not warp core stuff, but there's some really cool new technology that I've never seen before, and I maybe think just, you want to help?
Sure, what do you need help with?
Just studying new stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I can help you study new stuff. He sits down on the floor, says, "I like this. This is kind of nice."
Yeah, ever since you showed me the thing, it's a nice hiding spot.
The commander never found out about that, did they?
No. I mean, they probably know, but I didn't tell them.
I don't know what I should do after I help fix the warp core. I don't know if I stay on the Sally Ride or if I should stay on Narendra. And I feel like, I mean, my initial impulse, when we were pulling into space dock, my first thought was, I'm going to stay at Narendra because I can be out of the way and I can finally take some time to deal with stuff. But I've gotten you know, I don't know. There's the situation on Narendra that's kind of doesn't make things safer there, you know, and
Yeah.
And I think there might be something going on with me and Sage.
Oh.
But I don't know. I'm oblivious to this stuff.
Oh.
So I don't know what to do.
Like, I mean, you want, like, what kind, like, advice?
I don't know.
I need an insight check right now.
Okay.
And there's a complication.
Well, okay. So the difficulty on that was going to be 0. What were you trying to
So
get?
I succeeded and a complication.
All right,
So we get 1 momentum.
So what was the insight check for?
I want to know the feelings he is feeling while talking about Sage.
I think it's pretty
It doesn't matter.
She wants to know.
It's involuntary. It's just what I'm
That's true.
feeling. I want to know what he's feeling.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna pull that. You feel confusion, a
Okay.
little bit of confusion, but also
Sounds like
you
love.
detect
Stand up as captain.
you detect that familiar feeling of that a lot of people, that all of us have in many cases a complete incapability of actually identifying when it's happening.
Yeah.
Which is fear.
Yeah. Fear's fear.
That subtle, difficult to describe terror of being vulnerable with another person. That comes no matter how strong you think you are or how well you think you got things handled. You detect that mild sort of that thing that leads to all the miscommunication and agitation and confusion. You detect that fear.
Okay.
And it's like a little kernel deep down inside, but you also detect a sense of anxiety.
Yeah.
And it yeah.
Okay.
So he's just kind of like thinking about it.
Well. All right. Well, break it down. Let's work through it. What's up?
I don't know. I mean, she's been great. She's been really tentative, and she's been like
She's
like
smart too.
Like it's a friendship, like, but it's I don't know. Like, part of me thinks that I don't want to say too much because Sage just kind of confided in me, and I don't want to like say anything.
Yeah.
But because we're both kind of going through stuff. I don't know if you know that. Maybe that's saying too much, but we're both kind of going through stuff, and she and I have kind of been going through stuff together, and she feels really safe, and she just makes me feel safe, kind of like, you know, the way you make me feel really safe. Like, I feel like I can talk to you, and I feel like that there's no expectation there, but there's also a thing with Sage where it just feels like, Mala, I don't know. I just feel like something else is happening. Like there's another conversation that's happening underneath all of the things we're saying to each other, and I don't know how to describe it. And I don't know what to do about it, because I don't think I like her a lot, but I don't know where I'm at with, you know. Is it
Just
warm in
breathe.
here? He just kind of starts pulling himself.
I hesitantly just sort of put my hand on his shoulder.
Okay.
Just take it slow.
Yeah.
Maybe hang out in public spaces, and then hang out privately, and then maybe you could talk to her about it, or ask her out, or this is so awkward.
Okay. It's
give
so
her
weird.
a present.
That's nice.
Does anything that I'm saying feel like it's helping.
It all feels like common sense stuff that I should probably have known that I'm kind of just choking on. I just,
Okay, well, how about I'll say a sentence and just say the first thing.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Sage is your friend, yes or no?
Yes.
Do you get happier when you're around her?
Yes.
Do you hope to see her when you wake up?
Okay.
Then I think, what are you still doing talking to me for?
I don't know, maybe I just needed to talk to an engineer. I'm just used to things making sense, and breaking stuff down, and... This is all great, but this is not quite as important at the moment as figuring this stuff out. He holds up one of the data pads.
No, please. I've got it, and I take the data pad from him.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll see you at the warp core.
Okay. I'm gonna have him make an insight check.
And while this is going on, I would want to say what I was doing. If that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, let me make his roll and then tell
Cool.
him what
I think I know.
Okay. He says, okay.
Thanks again. Hope it, good luck.
Thanks. I'm close by if you...
Yeah, if I get stuck, I'll, come knock on, no, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. He nods, and your empathic ability, you feel his confusion deepen.
Yeah.
As he turns on his heel and slowly walks out of main engineering.
Come back anytime. I just place the data pad down next to me and start reading it.
Okay. What was Sage doing?
So, since we all had some downtime and stuff, and, I have been spending a lot more time with Zadis, and we've been working on projects and stuff. So I go to his quarters with 2 cream sodas.
Okay.
And knock, do my usual, make sure he's, but he's not answering, and he's not in there. And I say, computer, where is Linzatis?
See what's happening here?
Yep. I knew it.
I have no idea what you're talking
Computer,
about.
where is Linzatis?
Oh my. This is
I'm asking. You're the computer.
Hey, Aki. Computer.
I'm just
All-knowing interface.
I'm just, this is like
The
right
computer's
out of
like, I could tell you, but
Computer.
I don't want to.
Computer, where is Linzatis?
Sorry, I can't do that.
No, I'm sorry.
Computer, install wingman protocols.
It's becoming a John Hughes movie. All right, you, computer, where is Linzatis? You hear, Linzatis is in main engineering.
And Lark kind of knowingly smiles and goes back to her quarters.
Okay. Meanwhile, on Narendra, I need to know what's Throlo. Where's Throlo?
My first priorities here would, I guess, be to make sure that I'm, helping with the reintegration of the returned science team if anybody had any ongoing needs, like Collins. And I guess my next stop would be to make sure that we are compiling all the data we can on the Streethians, because I probably get to help write the first report on them in our systems, which is exciting. So whoever was the medical or biology lead on their team, I've probably been coordinating with them.
Okay, so are you on the station or on the Sally ride?
My sickbay, unless the person I'm coordinating with has an office that they want to use.
Okay, no, you're coordinating off Sally ride.
I would read that report first sentence.
See, because we
First
have
draft, so adorable. Second draft, cross
we have
through.
a different setup than Critical Role. I don't have you guys across the table from me, so passing player notes takes place in the form of
I turned my phone.
text
Sorry, hold on.
messaging. So, pardon,
now we're all checking,
pardon
like,
the
I know,
sudden breakage in momentum there.
Oh, I thought you meant I had a message from
No,
you.
no, no,
Sorry.
not
I was
yet.
like, what am I supposed to know?
Not yet. Okay.
Oh gosh.
It's okay.
Okay.
But secrets.
So, all right. So you're sitting there coordinating at the station, Throlo, and you hear coming across the intercom as you're in the system. You hear Matazi go, Dr. Throlo, Dr.
Yes.
Shasiros. I'm sorry. I know you're quite busy right now. We have a transmission coming in from Narendra Station from one of the relays.
Put it through.
You see a message coming in marked specifically for Throlo Shasiros, and it is a message. Looks like it's a private message. It requires your command input.
Sure, I'll ask my colleague to excuse me and duck over to a
Okay.
private console,
All right.
which I assume I have. Or I go in a quarantine room. I don't know. Whatever I've got in my sick bay. I should learn what's in my sick bay.
All right, you slide into your little doctor's area where you get some privacy. The message comes back up on your screen, and it says, it's from Andoria. Yeah, this message was sent about 3 weeks ago. And it is from a Dr. Okar Vriza. And Sage, Throlo.
Yes. I'm here too.
Throlo, the moment you see that name pop up, you feel a flood of nostalgia and concern, remembering the name of the doctor you served under in those mines. And it's a recorded message, ready to play at your command. Press the button, and the first thing you see coming up on the screen is that old familiar face of an old Andorian, wrinkled and worn, looking shockingly gaunt. Hair is pulled back into a bit of a ponytail, but you can tell it's wispy and in poor condition. And he clears his throat, and he's not even looking at the screen as it comes up, and he goes, I don't know how to start this message. I don't know what exactly it is that I want to say to you. I've spent the past years trying not to think about you, to be perfectly honest. And I couldn't understand why that was impossible. But my cynicism told me that by the end, when there wasn't any time left, I would figure it out. And I'm right. You were my daughter, Throlo. No, you were more than that to me. You were that thing that gave me hope down in that mine, and you were a young woman who walked into hell because she stupidly thought she could have made a difference. I thought you were naive. I never paused to consider that it was bravery. No, not bravery. Tenacity would probably be a better word for it. You never had any preconceived notions about what you'd find down there. You knew it was the worst place to go, and that's why you chose it. You learned medicine in the belly of hell, and somehow you never let the cruelty infect you. I taught you medicine, Throlo, but you were my mentor, not the other way around. I'm told they've told me I've got about 2 days left. And damn these doctors. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I know that after I wake up, well, when I go to sleep tonight, I know I'm not waking up tomorrow. At least that's my hope. Never mind the pain in the ass of having your lung tissue stripped away. It would just be... God, I couldn't bear the thought of being wrong in my final prognosis. And he coughs a little bit and wipes some blood out of the corner of his mouth. I don't know where you are or if this message will ever reach you. Maybe that doesn't matter. I just needed to say all this out loud. I gave up on making a difference a long time ago. I go to my grave knowing you weren't that idiotic. I know you're out there somewhere helping people. I hope I helped people too. It's all I wanted. I don't know how I got so lost. But thank you for helping me find my way back. Even if it only happened now. So that's it. Bye, Doctor. Bleep. End transmission.
I just keep playing the message for a few minutes.
Looping it again and again. And you watch as he goes through the motions. You are convinced, Thrillo, that by the end of the message that you get a sense that he felt a measure of salvation. Each time the message ends, you hear just a little bit again and again and again. And you remember how hard he was and how determined and just how almost broken he appeared to be by the end. When you left him before you went to Starfleet. He's a different man in this message. You're not sure what the story was with the mine or what's happened to it, but it was you saw a different man just now.
I play it again.
Kind of lean back for a second, and you lean forward and press play again. We're going to cut to our dinner scene with the Admiral. I'm going to touch base with you about your...
Well, because I need to clear out Talush stuff.
Yeah.
In
So
case
let's do that real quick before the Admiral gets on board.
Yep, exactly. That's my downtime.
All right. All right, Rue. You take a seat at the commander's station in your quarters. You bring up the computer display in front of you. Go ahead and make your check. You are trying to uncover any discrepancies in the command logs, or tell me specifically what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing a full hose down. So we've got... I don't know anything.
All right, full hose down. Do you have any focuses that would help you here?
Can I do a contested roll?
Nope, you've
Not
already
anymore.
made it. I got a difficulty. What's up?
So, funny you should ask that. That's why.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
then
I'm going to...
For the purposes of this, then I'm going to say that you have made contact with... We'll touch base about it. I was going to say after the game, but then we're doing before behind the shield. So, but we will...
Skirting around that,
yeah.
Can we just...
Yes. So go ahead and make a roll real quick. I'm going to set the difficulty at 4.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to, yes, cautious, and also use, since I rolled for my determination under my veteran talent and regained it.
Yes.
I would like to use no one keeps secrets from Janil Rue.
Is that a new value?
Nice.
Okay.
That seems like that applies.
That would apply. Go ahead. So you got 2 successes popping off already.
Yep.
You need 2 successes.
I do.
Oh, you're in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble, Sage.
Wait, what?
Yep, that's cocked, unfortunately.
I don't know why I'm in trouble.
I I don't know why you're in trouble.
yeah.
I don't know what anybody's talking about here.
Talash is the one in trouble.
Oh dear.
Why am I in trouble? I didn't do anything.
So that would be a total of 7 then, including the autocrat.
I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble.
All right, so get back them momentums. All right.
7?
How much?
That'd be 3 momentum back on a difficulty 4 check.
All right.
Was the
let's
difficulty
just go
down, you said?
Difficulty was 4.
Bing, 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 bing.
Okay.
All right, so.
I'm just gonna leave Starfleet now. It's nice. It's been nice flying on the ship with you all.
Let's go ahead and we're going to speed this up a little bit because we got about 4 minutes left. So so you comb through the data, and you see definitive points where Commander Tolash has accessed using a command code. It is a Starfleet command code, and he has only used it to access the holodeck. He's only ever used it to remove safety protocol from the holodeck.
I'm just going to close this. Wait, what's that?
Your computer terminal is bugged.
Can
I might want to investigate that.
You come across.
Yeah.
You come across.
Yeah, you know what? You weren't there and you missed that insight check. She was doing it right under your nose.
I was on the bridge.
Fucking mad. I'm fucking mad.
Does your character have
your
the
computer
name plug?
terminal was accessed from the helm, and it gives you a specific stار date, and a code has been imprinted in the command line. This was before you discovered Lassie LeClaire.
Yep.
A code has been entered onto the command line, and no information has been removed from your computer, but it looks like there's a code command to look for specific keywords in unusual searches, as well as unusual access points. Specifically, if you ever used, let me put it this way. It looks like that someone planted a tripwire here so that if anybody was using this for something that would be outside the normal bounds of your duty, it would fire off a flare.
Whose access code was that? Out of idle curiosity.
Oh, you have 2 things to do if you want to spend 1 point of momentum.
Absolutely.
It came from the helm during Lark Sage's shift. You know exactly where the command access was gained from.
Could have been anybody on the bridge.
And could have been. All of this comes right after I submitted that commendation.
And that's where we have to stop tonight.
Heart's breaking. Oh,
I had nothing to do with that cliffhanger.
Oh, no.
I had nothing to do with that one.
God. Too long.
And Bonnie has been written off the show. Thanks to everyone. It's been wonderful serving on
Bonnie
the show.
has a bunch of bookings for the next couple. That's so weird.
Convenient that I don't.
Big reveal. Yep.
Wow. Did not see that coming.
So come back and check with us next Friday night.
Will I be here? Who knows?
Well, you're definitely not coming up behind the shield tonight.
Yeah.
I'm actually not. Actually,
Bonnie actually has to go to an
I actually have
event.
to go do a library bar show, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and sign off for the evening, but stick around on Alpha in about 30 minutes or so. We're gonna be doing Behind the Shield at 7:30 p.m. PST on Alpha, and Sam is probably going to have a lot of questions. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a lot of questions. So go ahead and make sure to sign in, and we will see you. Stay tuned for Gather Your Party later tonight as well. Until then, hailing frequencies are closed.